at an apartment complex near 10th Street and Shaylin that led to the shooting.
People don't always get along, but there's no reason to resort to violence, especially with guns, and in this instance, especially over a door being pushed into someone else.
Captain Don Weilhammer with IMPD. The two who were shot are stable at the hospital. You probably know the name Keegan Kline, the man facing 25 child porn charges in Miami County. Donnie Burgess reports on the latest request from his legal team.
Kline's team has requested the pretrial and jury trial be dropped for a change of plea hearing. Kline has pled not guilty to 25 child porn charges since his arrest. He's accused of using a fake social media profile called Anthony Shots to talk to children. Kline's name has also been linked to the Delphi murders case, although he has never been charged. Kline's jury trial was supposed to begin May 10th. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
President Biden has signed a bill to declassify any White House documents regarding the COVID pandemic. The bill was authored by Indiana Senator Mike Braun, who says the president did the right thing in signing the bill. He added on Twitter that he expects some of the documents to shed light on the origin of COVID, especially on whether or not the virus may have leaked from a lab in China. Scott Morris, a 14-year-old from Eaton, which is in Delaware County, has been missing since Friday. Police are looking for him, and Scott's mother is concerned for his safety.
I need to know that you're safe. Please just call 911. Tell anyone. I need you home.
The search was suspended Monday due to darkness, but it will resume today. An abrupt end to the season for the IU women. The Hoosiers lost to Miami 70-68 in the women's NCAA tournament Monday. IU finishes the year outright Big Ten champs with a 28-4 record. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
All right, Kerr, we are stopped on the south side, and I think it's because of a crash. Westbound 465, stop from 65 to Harding Street, and that crash at Harding is blocking the fast lane. Left lane blocked in the construction zone. So, yeah, we're stopped back to 65, 29-minute delay. And traffic is rerouting on northbound 65, causing congestion and a slowdown from Raymond Street to the south split. Traffic sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Make hiring easier with the workforce experts. Hiring is about finding the right person, so let the team at Express Employment Professionals recruit for you. ExpressPros.com. I'm Matt Bear with Traffic on the 5s on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For today, clouds increase, mostly cloudy. Showers will be arriving closer to sunset. High temperature of 55 degrees. Tonight, light showers are likely. Low of 42 degrees. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
It's sunny and 34 on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, March 21st. It is 7 minutes after 9, and you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thank you for joining us this morning. So the political world waited over the weekend for Ron DeSantis to weigh in on the possible indictment of Donald Trump, and then waited some more. And then finally, Ron DeSantis spoke yesterday. We were waiting with bated breath, Rob, and then he spoke. And when he did, he took shots at Bragg and also at Donald Trump.
Okay, so we are going to play you the audio of Ron DeSantis speaking, and I'm going to do this in 3 parts because this was a master course in how you handle this sort of situation. I mean, he did this so well yesterday, and he did it in a way that most people don't even realize that he was doing it, and that is why we are paid $1 gajillion to be here.
You get paid $1 gajillion?
Well, we're not making the Vivek Ramaswamy money. You know, he's getting $4,000 an hour from the state of Indiana to handle in-purse. But we're making pretty good money because we see things other people don't see. So 3 parts to this. Part number 1, again, master class. He could teach an entire course at Harvard, Yale, and just do it on this little 2.5 minutes of speaking alone. So part 1, he very clearly goes after Alvin Bragg, the district attorney, and he does it in a way where you know right off the bat, hey, Bragg is the bad guy in the equation. Take a listen.
So I've seen rumors swirl. I have not seen any facts yet, and so I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know this, the Manhattan district attorney is a Soros-funded prosecutor. And so he, like other Soros-funded prosecutors, they weaponize their office to impose a political agenda on society at the expense of the rule of law and public safety. He has downgraded over 50% of the felonies to misdemeanors. He says he doesn't want to even have jail time for the vast, vast majority of crimes. And what we've seen in Manhattan is we've seen the crime rate go up, and we've seen citizens become less safe.
Okay, so right out of the gate, everybody knows, hey, this lunatic left prosecutor is the bad guy in the equation. So if you're somebody who is, you know, whether you're a Trump supporter, whether you've been on the fence about Trump, whether you're just a Republican in good standing, you know out of the gate, the first thing he wants to make abundantly clear to you is that Donald Trump is not the bad guy in the equation. The radical left DA is the person that is at fault here.
Right.
Okay, very good. Now, Casey.
Yeah.
This is where he takes it to a new level that everyone that has ever had to give a political speech of any sort should give him a giant round of applause, because now you're suckered in going, yeah, that's right. Bragg is the bad guy here. But then, ever so subtly and repeatedly, he wants to make sure that you know that Donald Trump has put himself in this position because he made hush money payments to a porn star, and DeSantis does this all while playing stupid, going, I don't know. Yeah, this is just what I heard out there. Multiple times you will hear him say the words porn star, and then very quickly after playing stupid and innocent in all of it, he then pivots back to Bragg. This is awesome.
You're talking about this situation with, and look, I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office. And I think that that's fundamentally wrong.
Okay, so we are in the middle of the weave now. He has started out making abundantly clear, if you are a conservative or a liberty-minded person, this lunatic left prosecutor is 100% to blame, Casey.
He's the bad guy. He's funded by Soros, who, through the Color of Change PAC, gave him a whole ton of money for his election campaign. So Bragg is the bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely. But then let's remind everybody that if you're an kind of maybe, an undecided conservative, maybe you're on the fence, maybe you liked some of Trump's policies, but man, that was just exhausting. Well,
DeSantis is the family man. He has no idea how you would pay hush money to a porn star. He's not involved in that sort of seedy lifestyle.
And then to close the deal, because, well, Ron DeSantis was once upon a time a prosecutor, he makes the closing argument reminding you that best of all, Casey, he's one of the few people in the entire country who has actually done something about these radical left maniac prosecutors.
I also think it's important to point out when you're talking about these Soros-funded prosecutors, yes, they may do a high-profile politicized prosecution, and that's bad, but the real victims are ordinary New Yorkers, ordinary Americans in all these different jurisdictions, that they get victimized every day because of the reckless political agenda that these Soros DAs bring to their job. They ignore crime and they empower criminals, and that hurts people, hurts a lot of people every single day. These Soros district attorneys are a menace to society, and I'm just glad that I'm the only governor in the country that's actually removed one from office during my tenure.
And it's complete.
Insane. The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Right.
I can't even, whether you like the guy or you don't, whether you like his politics or you don't, whether you love Trump or you don't, I cannot tell you from just a pure politician, political speech, articulating and driving home a message, how perfect he did all of that. It was all deliberate. It was all by design. And if you're a person who is sitting there going, who is the best person to carry the Republican banner and be not just a voice for themselves, but for a voice of other candidates, who is the person that we most want to run with? Who is the person who will make the best case for us? Who is the person who will do the best on a debate stage with Joe Biden? I don't know how you don't look at that. Or how you look at that and say anything other than Ron DeSantis. What isn't just that was A+. That is everything you should want from the top of your ticket.
So it was worth the wait hearing from him.
Oh, it was awesome.
And of course, Trump could not help himself. He had to come out and say something as well.
Okay, so I want to take a break because during the break, I want to ask you if you want the Whitney behind this or not, because this is so hilarious what Trump put on Truth Social, but it's so ridiculous that I don't know if we should prop it up with the music. But and then I've got to ask you, there's something in there that he's alleging potentially against DeSantis that I don't even know what it means. So I'm going to have to ask you.
Yep.
So could we take a break?
Yep. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
It's best, Mr. President, that you don't know what you're guilty of. It's best that you not know that these documents pertain to conversations regarding Ukraine, where your son was having business dealings and making millions of dollars, and now they, meaning the free and thinking world, can connect your classified document, the classified documents in your possession, to things that may exist on your son's laptop.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network. Go on. Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through March 21st, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Theme weeks, family nights, live a dream trips, and more. Whether you're looking for a short-term rehabilitation stay or want to downsize with our independent living apartments, you'll find there's always something to celebrate at a Trilogy Senior Living Community. Trilogy is proud to take care of seniors' day-to-day hassles so they can enjoy life with friends, family, and a staff committed to exceeding their expectations every day. Visit us today at www.trilogyhs.com/live to find out why Trilogy is where family comes to live.
At Indiana Foundation Service, we're proud to share some of what our customers have said about us.
I was having problems with water in my crawl space during heavy rains. I was concerned about mold and the air my family was breathing. I'm so happy I called. The problem was fixed, and I'm not stressed anymore.
Indiana Foundation Service can keep your home and family safe. Visit indianafoundation.com to book your free inspection.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
Hey, good morning. It's Casey. You know, the first day of spring was yesterday, which means the temperatures are going to be warming up, and that means you're going to be getting those toys in and out of the garage. And you spent a lot of money, not only on your cars, but everything else that you house in your garage. So why wouldn't you want to store them in a place that is great? And you can with the help from Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They'll come in, lay this coating down, which is 4 times stronger, has a really strong hold. The color's not going to fade. It's easy to clean. So when you're getting stuff in and out of the garage, make sure the garage is a good place to store it all. Call Galaxy Concrete Coating, 317-751-9070. They're also online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Get your air conditioner ready for spring and the hot summer ahead. On the south side, call Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Call themarshallnow.com, your American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You could smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
20 minutes after 9. Good morning. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And let's take a look at what's trending this morning. The cast of Ted Lasso visited the White House yesterday. They were there to discuss mental health. And while they were in the briefing room, a disruptive reporter derailed the entire briefing, saying he hadn't been called on in 7 months. Karine Jean-Pierre, what did she do? Absolutely nothing. But while they were there, Jason Sudeikis, after he took the podium, he took a question from a familiar face.
Yes, sir. Familiar face. Hi.
Trent Prim. Fake journalist.
Yes, sir. Yes, Trent. Nice to see you.
How do you feel about Kansas City being one of the named hosting cities for the 2026 World Cup?
Ooh, here I was hoping for a softball. Okay, you know what? I'm very excited. Truth be told, yeah, Kansas City's going to be one of these teams. I mean, I love this town. What I am genuinely worried about is once we get all these folks from all over the world to come to Kansas City and see our city, eat our food, meet our people, you're going to have, a lot of folks that won't want to move away. That's what I'm worried about.
Okay, so for people, Casey, who have never seen the show like me, what the hell was going on there?
Okay, so the Ted Lasso show revolves around soccer.
Oh, okay.
The World Cup is going to be coming to North America next. So they were in the briefing room. Trent Prim is a character from the show who plays a journalist on the show. So he was a fake journalist in the briefing room that Jason Sudeikis, who is Ted Lasso, called on.
This was at the actual White House.
This is in the actual White House.
This is what we're doing.
Behind the podium with the logo. Karine Jean-Pierre was there. And yeah, this took place right there in the White House briefing room.
This is what we're using our public resources for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Also trending this hour.
Why did you subject me to that? Like, what You knew that would enrage me, and you said, let's just stick it right in Rob's face. Here you go, Rob. Would you like some rage pie this morning?
Let's get you worked up. I know you've got to perform here in just a minute. Also trending is Mike Bray. And, of course, 13 days after he coached his last game at Notre Dame for basketball, he has reportedly already agreed to become the head coach at the University of South Florida in Tampa.
Now, you're friends with Bray, right?
Well,
You guys pounded some brews together?
Yeah.
I'm sure he was a big fan of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was rumors
I actually think I see you getting sentimental as you're talking about this.
You know, there was a lot of rumor that he was going to go to Georgetown possibly, but now it's coming out he's going to be in South Florida and Tampa. I'm guessing he was sick and tired of the cold winters.
Great, we have
South
somewhere
Bend.
we have somewhere to vacation now.
Right,
It's fabulous.
Exactly. And finally trending, Rob, I know you're going to have a baby girl sometime this summer, and it was always a rite of passage to make the trip to Chicago to the American Girl doll store. These are very, very expensive dolls,
sure.
right? Well, they have introduced 2 new historical dolls. Historical,
like
being
Betsy
the
Ross?
key. Well, this is the key word. These historical dolls are from the 90s. The 1990s.
Have you ever
harsh?
Have you ever seen there are moments where they will say, okay, something that happened in the time frame between such and such and such and such, is the same as, and these things that seem like they were forever ago, but now you realize that you are in the middle of this.
Yes.
And it is because you are an old person.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing it out.
I don't mean you.
30 years ago is now being classified as historical from the American Girl dolls.
Well, it's so interesting that you say this, Casey, because this was one of the things I wrote in my little journal that I'm keeping for my daughter last night about how I have started a second job because everything is really expensive and children are really expensive.
Yes.
And as a good conservative, I will not leech from others with my hand out. And I am doing a job that was similar to a job that I did many, many years ago when I was very young, was actually one of the things I do was actually my first job. And I was having flashbacks last night, and it was seeming to me how it seemed like it was yesterday, and it was in the 90s. And when you say the 1990s, you go, oh, yeah, that was just yesterday.
Yeah.
And then you actually realize, no, that was forever ago, and I am now a very old person.
Yes, congratulations. 30 years ago. It's now considered historical.
All right, so Trump, we mentioned this last segment. DeSantis had his big press dealio yesterday. It was a master class in political gamesmanship. He totally knocked it out of the park as it relates to Alvin Bragg and Trump and the Stormy Daniels stuff. And so then Trump could not help himself. He had to respond. Trump is obsessed, Casey, with this photo, this grainy photo from years ago that is supposedly, allegedly, it has never been confirmed to be Ron DeSantis. It's some guy who has a vague resemblance to Ron DeSantis, and he is with 3 younger women now, and they have beers in their hands. Nobody knows, are these women over 21? Are they under 21? Are they over 18? Nobody knows anything. It has never been confirmed, as far as I am aware, that is even Ron DeSantis. No one has been able to say definitively that is indeed Ron DeSantis.
It looks like it could be a picture from the 90s. Ron DeSantis is sporting the popular Caesar haircut.
Yes, and he was a teacher at a school very early on, but there's nothing... No one has ever said these girls were 16 years old. They were 18 years old. They were but Trump has just become...
He won't let it go.
He has become obsessed with this picture. And so he retruthed or retweeted or whatever it's called over there, this photo. And I'm going to read the words that came from him because, man, it is weird. He is like boiling rabbit on the stove. I will not be ignored, Dan. Weird about this. And I don't even know what he's saying in part of this. So real quick, let's roll. Ron DeSanctimonious will probably find out about false accusations and fake stories sometime in the future as he gets older, wiser, and better known. When he's unfairly and illegally attacked by a woman, even classmates that are underage, or possibly a man. I'm sure he will want to fight these misfits just like I do. Casey, I don't know what he means.
Yeah.
Now, I understand the underage.
Sure.
He's referring to these girls. They were underage. They have beers in their hands. Okay, by the way, never mind. I'm not even going to go there with that. But what does or possibly a man mean?
I don't know.
Is he trying to insinuate DeSantis is gay? Is he trying to say he had these women are men?
I don't know what he's trying to say. I think he's questioning in this day and age. You never know.
It's
something
so
could have happened
weird
between the time the photo was taken and now. But it's good on Trump that he makes you question.
This is insane, Casey.
That's all he's doing. He's just putting it out there. Like, are you sure you know what's going on in
or
this
possibly
photo?
a man?
But he says sometime in the future, as he gets older, wiser, and better known. It's almost like Trump is alluding, like, with everything that's going on.
Or possibly a man? Speaking of possibly a man, he is a man. He's the man. He's Kurt Darling. He's the news. It's coming up next.
It's 93 WIBC.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Spring is a key time for selling homes in Indianapolis. Now is the time to hire the agent that has the proven marketing plan to maximize the price of your home fast. Now is the time to hire the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you're worried because your home needs costly repairs or upgrades. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Melissa and Leonard in Mooresville had to say about working with Mark Dietl. We needed to move out of the state for a job change and needed to sell quickly. We heard about Mark Dietl on the radio, and everything Mark claims is true. Our home sold in 25 days for cash at the price we needed, but we're afraid we wouldn't get. Hire Mark Dietl. Call the agent I trust and recommend for the details. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETL.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's signed the bill. It's mostly sunny, 36 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. White House documents on COVID will be declassified.
The president says that what he wants it to do is declassify as much intel about the COVID origins, including the Wuhan lab, as he can without sacrificing sources and methods of the intelligence and national security. This is the same bill that passed the Senate and the House unanimously in recent weeks, but President Biden took a while to decide exactly what he was going to do. In fact, this came up at the press briefing, and we were told that no decision had been made. We didn't know until they told us that he signed it.
Fox's Peter Ducey. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell will be sticking around for a while longer. ESPN reports that Goodell and the NFL owners are expected to finalize a multi-year contract extension for Goodell at next week's owners meeting in Phoenix. It'll be the fourth time Goodell has been extended since he became commissioner in 2006. And now the stock report. We're in the green big time today. The Dow was up 305 points at the opening bell to 32,761. The Nasdaq up 86 to 12,775. And the S&P 500 is up 34.5 to 4,017. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? we can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local Stihl dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real Stihl. Find yours at StihlUSA.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
This March, protect yourself against upsets with Bracket Parlay Insurance on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, all customers can get up to $25 back each day if your parlay of 3 legs or more falls 1 leg short. Now, with the parlay, you could turn a small bet into a slam dunk. And with cash out, you're calling the shot. You could close out your bet whenever you want before the game is even over. It's really easy. Just sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account or go to FanDuel.com/WIBC to sign up today. Again, that website, FanDuel.com/WIBC, or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to your smartphone. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel.com/WIBC. 21 plus and present in Indiana. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus bet $25 per day unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. Amen. Amen. It's time to go to church. Here to preach to the choir from the bully pulpit, Pastor Micah Beckwith.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show, and oh, Casey, look who it is.
I know. I asked him, are you here to announce something? And he said, no, not today.
Would today be the day where you would like to declare, I'm going to do the right thing and run for Lieutenant Governor of the state of Indiana?
Well, listen, guys, I first would like you to introduce who's here, because you didn't even say my name yet. So how do people know who you're talking to?
You have your own billboard. You have a billboard.
Yeah, you have your own intro with music and everything.
Matt Hiblin put more effort into your intro than he did ours, so everyone knows you are Micah Beckwith.
That's hilarious.
Now, you actually have, other than grandstanding and defending your Republican friends, you actually have a premise of being here today. You have a special guest with you. Who is it?
I do, yeah. So we brought into the studio Dave Seibel. He is the headmaster at Coram Deo Schools and Coram Deo Academy in Carmel, and it's a classical Christian school that's doing great work. I know we talk a lot about what's going on in public education, and we see the just kind of how terrible that's gotten over the last 30 years, and specifically in Indiana. But what can we do to stop this? And I think Dave's got some great perspective on education in general and why children are not being trained up in the way that maybe we would expect them to be. So,
all right. Yeah. So, Dave, welcome. I'm sorry you have to be friends with Micah.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know if you lost a bet or what put you in that position, but very good. So, okay. So, tell us about, just very briefly, 30-second overview of your school. I know it's very successful. Your enrollment numbers are fabulous. They've gone up over the last several years. Tell us about it and why you think that is.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of empty seats on the yellow school buses that drive through our towns right now, and Hoosiers have been trusting in the public school system for a long time. I grew up in Greenfield, Indiana. I was on the bus. I had planned on sending my kids on the bus. I went through Teach for America, and over time I started to realize that, hey, I think some of the vision and direction for these schools is different than why I got into education in the first place. So when I started at Coram Deo Academy 5 years ago, we would always say the primary educators of everybody's a homeschooler. No matter what schooling option you choose, your kids are going to pick up your conviction. So I've just settled on, I've tried every model. So I've settled that classical Christian education at Coram Deo is what I want for my kids and why I got into education in the first place.
Dave Seibel's with us, a friend of Micah Beckwith, who is the headmaster.
Don't say that out loud, Casey. People are going to use that against him. They're going to say they're going to see him at a Walmart and go, "You're the guy that's Micah's friend."
No, I didn't say he was friends with Rob Kendall. He's a headmaster at Corondeo Academy. Now, you said this a few times, a classical Christian school. Now, I grew up with the Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the difference there? I mean, I understand, we went to church on Friday every time and prayer in school. What do you guys do that's different from public schools?
Yeah, the traditional Catholic school is very similar to classical Christian education in that we are trying to take kids back to the sources. We're trying to put them in contact with some of the things that the founders of our country read in the 18th century. So if you go back and you look at the founders, there's 8 world-class leaders like Alexander, like Hamilton, Madison, Franklin, and what kind of schooling did they do? Did they learn how to read from Dick and Jane and Spot? No, they read Longfellow, they read Shakespeare, they read Virgil, they read Homer. There's only about 3 million people at the time of the founding, yet we have 8 world-class leaders. So you would expect with the explosive growth of our country over the last 250 years that you'd see that growth of leadership, but you see quite the opposite because our educational standards have dropped more and more. And so I think the main difference between classical Christian education and other models is we have high expectations. We think that kids can reach the bar. Our kids, by the end of 8th grade, they can read the Bible in Latin. By the end of 10th grade, they can have a conversation.
Rob can do that.
What did you just say? Say that what?
They can read the Bible in Latin. And that's, Rob, you've been trying that in your time off, right? On the weekends, that's what you've been doing, right?
I know in church when you tell me to flip to chapter and verse, I know how to do that, Micah.
It's Matthew 8.
So
just give him the page number.
Yeah.
And these are normal kids too. Like my son, he repeated kindergarten. He would throw toys at his teacher at the beginning of the year. And so these are Micah's progeny go to our school. And so these are normal Hoosier kids. We aren't like some Ivy League bougie private school. These are normal Hoosiers that come from Christian families that they want something different for their kids.
So our guest, Dave Seibel, Coram Deo Christian School, Micah Beckwith. So Mike, I'll start with you and then Dave, I'll let you take this one because Mike and I have talked a lot about this. I think about my daughter, and so I've lived my whole life in Brownsburg. I went to Brownsburg. It's part of the community as being a Bulldog, and you think, wait a second, I pay all these property taxes. I'm not sure I'm prepared to surrender that, I pay for this public education. My kid deserves a good education for what I pay. I feel like in a weird way, if I just pull her out and say, well, she's not going to go there, I'm surrendering something. And Mike, I'll start with you on this. Do you think I'm looking at that the wrong way by saying, no, wait, I got to stand and fight, don't I?
Absolutely. I always tell people you have a responsibility to fight in the public school systems for what's right because you pay taxes, and Abraham Lincoln said the philosophy of the classroom in one generation is the philosophy of government in the next.
But I'm petrified of her going there.
Well, here's how I look at it. It's the Titanic. If you were to go back to the days of the Titanic and say, okay, we know what the outcome's going to be here, would we send our kids onto the Titanic without us there? No, probably not. Any good parent would say, I'm not going to put my kid there, but we still would want to fight and say, okay, well, there's something we can do to help save all of those people who will meet their doom if we don't do something. And I think it's the same way. It's like, I'm not going to put my child is my gift from God. Ultimately, I care about what they're going to end up, how they're going to grow into being the human beings that, God has called us to raise. So that's my first responsibility. But then my second responsibility is to then, what can I do to help the community? So, we've made the choice to go to Coram as a family, and it doesn't mean that I don't care about Noblesville. It doesn't mean that I don't care about the students that are at Noblesville, but we're not going to send them on the Titanic.
Well, it almost sounds like for those parents that do put their children on the Titanic with air quotes, you're going to send them with the life jacket.
Yeah. And every parent, it doesn't mean that your kid is doomed for failure if you go to public schools, but it does mean that every parent is called to be very engaged in their children's lives. And you can't just, and even this is true, I think Dave would say this is true in Coram or any other Christian school, or you can't just go on autopilot as a parent. And they're very intentional at Quorum to say, parents, you have a very intentional, specific role you have to play, and we're not going to let you just send your kids here and then go on autopilot. They're your kids to raise. The school's just helping you raise them.
Dave, I'm curious, when people come, I assume they say, hey, I want to learn about your school. They don't just go, okay, we're going to send our kid here. Beckwith said do it. Let's do it. Maybe they do. I don't know. But what do the stories you hear, is there reoccurring themes on people say, well, I've got to get out of the public school?
Yeah, we want to see people running to us, not just running from something. And so the idea that we're just a refuge from public schools, I think there's over 1,000 classical Christian schools around the country. And I know any headmaster they want to see people running to a positive vision for their children. And so it's not meant to be a political retreat for conservative people. Ultimately, we are folks that are focused on the gospel. And so, I think of Reagan's quote about freedom not passing through the bloodstream. We don't think the gospel passes through the bloodstream. We see all these things that our culture and conservative Christians have tolerated, and then the next generation's embracing. And so we have to fight to preserve what the next generation needs. And so what one generation is tolerating, the next is embracing. And I think of what G.K. Chesterton said about education, that education is just the soul of one generation passing on to the next. So I see a lot of kids growing spiritually. What often happens is people will say, this is good for my kids. And then they'll realize this is actually good for our family. And then the third is they realize this is good for kids in general.
When you see what's going on in public schools, how do you think we got here?
That's good.
Well, we were just walking around the circle.
That's why she's a professional, Micah. That's what she does.
She asks good questions, Rob. You should take a note.
He has history being involved in education and obviously a good opinion on it. So how do you think public education got to the state that it is?
I mean, I'm less involved in the contemporary scene as Micah and you guys, but we're walking around the Monument Circle, and we're just looking at the years 1861 to 1865. And so my two things that I'd point to is when Lincoln approved the Morrill Act and started giving schools like Purdue hundreds of acres so that they could teach agriculture and mechanics, the seeds of our educational system, the seeds of decay were sown not in the 20th century, but in the 19th century. You see Darwin published The Origin of Species around that same time. And so people are incentivized. You see Carnegie and Rockefeller at the turn of the century, they hated Latin. They hated Greek. They said that studying the classics made you an impractical person. And so
because they wanted factory workers, essentially.
Yeah. And so I think that headmasters over the last 150 years went from being true academics and statesmen to business officers. And boards, if you surveyed boards, would you rather have someone get a degree in philosophy, theology, history, or get an MBA? They'd all say get an MBA. It's business and technology have displaced those things that make us human. And so right now, there are more DEI officers in higher education than history professors.
Wow.
Why is that? Because boards are generally populated by businessmen and women, and they have no taste for what makes us human. What's a child for?
Can you talk about a little bit how you teach? Like every student going through Quorum learns the same thing 3 times, correct? From like kindergarten to 5th grade and then 6th grade.
Wait. Yeah, so it can't be like when I was in school where you do something just to take a test and then you totally forget it. Because isn't that how you did it, Casey?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I need this for this test.
It's 2 plus 2 equals 4. I never have to remember that again. I never have to remember that.
Sorry, Dave. I'm a terrible broadcaster. Go ahead.
The majority of us aren't working professionally in the major we took. And we're always so surprised by that. But it's like, well, why do we say that? Why is that such a novel stat to everyone that 80% of people don't work in their major? It's like, well, the purpose of education is not to train you for your job primarily. The purpose of education for hundreds, thousands of years was to cultivate a civilization of reasonable and responsible people. It's actually a form of Marxism when you start doing STEM and elementary school, because you think that our job is to prepare the workforce for the next generation. That's a secondary aim. They're not just a pair of hands. Every individual has worth more than their economic value they contribute to society. And so we think the things that are humanizing are knowing where you came from. Cicero said, whoever is ignorant of what happened before he was born will perpetually remain a child. And so we see these, you ask why I think we got here. We forgot where we came from.
Yeah, no, I got the answer. It was Rockefeller.
That's right. By the way, I like this guy way better than Beckwith. He should be the lieutenant governor. How about that?
Hey, we can listen. As long as you're the press secretary, I will support him.
Micah, but we have to go. But I'm going to tell you this again. I am needed here, and I need a job that involves no critical thinking whatsoever.
Oh, man.
Micah could work with you then.
Okay.
Micah
Bada bing,
Beckwith,
bada boom.
Dave Seibel, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank
This was
you.
a fabulous conversation, and we really appreciate it. Way better than the ones we normally have with Micah.
Thanks, guys.
You are listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Join John each week as he challenges financial advice you may have been given and reaffirms what you know to be true. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our tractor lineup rated #1 in durability and owner experience, Z Series mowers, and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Bring home select BX Series equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 72 months, plus save up to $800, now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
In a wreck, you need an attorney who knows how to fight and knows how to win. WeWin.com.
WeWin.com.
I'm attorney Darryl Isaacs. We'll fight day and night to get you the money you deserve.
WeWin.com. WeWin.com.
And with over $1 billion recovered for our clients, we know how to win.
WeWin.com.
If you're injured in a wreck, we're ready to fight for you.
Isaacs and Isaacs.
The winning team you know
and trust.
WeWin.com. WeWin.com.
Inflation is nothing more than legalized theft. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and to preserve your wealth, I highly recommend keeping physical gold in your retirement account. To learn more, text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold, which is the only gold IRA company I trust. So text SHELTER to 989898 to request your free info kit right now.
Life is all about enjoying the little moments. Don't miss out on them because of unexpected heart issues. At Community Health Network, you receive heart care you can trust. From simple screenings to life-saving diagnostic and interventional cardiology services, we offer it all, so you can get back to the moments that matter. Learn more about our services at ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care simply delivered.
Hey, so you took out some aggression yesterday, I heard.
I did. Good morning. It's 9:51. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. It was a whole lot of fun and very, very educational. So a girlfriend of mine and I went to Indy Arms, and we had a gun class with the gun guy, Guy Relford.
How exciting.
I have to tell you something, Rob.
Yes.
He is so smart, and he did such a good job at teaching us.
Oh, no. His name is the gun guy.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like me knowing about local government.
I know.
But he should be. That's in his name, Casey.
I know.
Well,
and that's what I'm saying.
Why are you surprised?
If I were to say, okay, who do I know that really knows Indiana state politics? Rob Kendall would come to mind. Who do I know who knows guns and firearms? Guy Relford.
You just seemed there was like some surprise in your voice. You know, he was really smart on guns.
He was really, really good. No, he taught me some really great stuff.
Did he tell you that you're supposed to aim the gun directly in the air and fire repeatedly and yell "yeehaw" as you dance?
Absolutely
Is that
not.
You're not supposed to do that?
We've got the 5 safety rules. Always assume the gun is loaded.
Yes.
Always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're on target and ready to shoot. Always know your target and everything aligned within your target.
Did you put my face on the target?
No, I didn't put your face on the target, but let me tell you something. After, it was about a 2-hour class. We did an hour in the classroom, and then we went into the range, and I was shooting a 9mm, and he was surprised at how good I did.
Did you hit the target?
He was so proud of me. You should have seen his face. He was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So I brought the target in with me.
It's amazing they even let women have guns.
And I haven't shown you. So I shot off 5 bullets.
Oh, 5 bullets. Okay.
5 bullets.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm showing it on so everybody.
Okay, I see one in the 7. Oh, there's a direct hit. Oh yeah, boy, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all hit the target.
There and 1 down
now,
there.
was this like you were standing from me to you?
It was 12 feet away. And we did it 12 feet because if you were in a self-defense situation, he said perpetrators are normally like about 10 to 12 feet away. So that's the distance that we wanted to practice.
Yeah.
But I had 4 shots.
That's amazing.
That's like right there.
Yeah,
Look
that's a
1 hole, 4 shots. I was so proud of myself. I was like, I got to bring this in to show it off. And he was
Did you
proud
beat your
of me
friend?
too.
Did you do better than your friend?
Yeah, but you know what? I was super proud of her too because she was really nervous about doing it. And both of us have gone to ranges before.
Yeah.
I've always gone with the dude. And my point was that I want to be confident handling that weapon when I'm by myself. And Guy, he was so good. He taught us everything. I know all the parts on the gun now.
Oh,
I
that's
know
how exciting.
How to properly shoot, and the stance, the isosceles stance is my favorite versus the Weaver, which is the side.
Look, she's using terminology. I'm using the Weaver stance.
I know. And muzzle awareness and the 5 fundamentals of aiming, sight alignment, sight picture, hold control, breath control, trigger control, and then follow through. I didn't know the breath control is when you go to shoot, you take a deep breath and then you let a little out.
Yeah.
And then you shoot.
Did you yell before each shot, "Get off my property"? Did you take actual real world practice?
No, I didn't.
You kids, get off my lawn!
Quit throwing rocks in my yard. But it's interesting, on the target here, the first 4 shots all in the middle. The last one, I started to talk and got distracted, and that's when it went down.
And he shot him in the junk.
Yep, I did. Totally.
That'll hurt too.
Yep, it'll stop him for sure. If you're interested in taking a class, they're expensive, but Guy does offer them. It's 9:55. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, fastest way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network. Go on. Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through March 21st, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Chapters of this story take a whole month to tell. This is May. It starts with twists and turns on the IMS road course for the GMR Grand Prix. Then PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying and the Firestone Fast 6 shootout. May continues with Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Card Day. And all roads lead to the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gainbridge. This is where heroes become legends and legends become legendary. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Has the stock market slumps and instability this year got you concerned? Would you like a way that could protect your retirement when the markets are down? Gold Alliance would like to give you 2 free reports, the Inflation Survival Plan and the Stock Market Correction Plan. Both reveal how to protect your savings in uncertain times. It's absolutely free. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079. 800-200-2079.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the debate over transgender kids at the State House, plus who the University of Indianapolis has tabbed as their new president, and the end of the line for a magic season for the IU women. I'm Kurt Darling. All that and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Protesting while waiting. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. They are anti-Trump, demonstrating outside the Manhattan DA's office, chanting "No one's above the law," with one Trump supporter protesting nearby ahead of the former president's possible indictment.
Just a continuation of the most disgusting witch hunt
in the history of our country.
Trump on Truth Social last night. He had earlier predicted he'd be arrested today, but the grand jury in New York City hears more testimony tomorrow, investigating a hush money payment before the 2016 election to keep a porn star quiet about an alleged affair Trump denies having. There are also protests in Los Angeles. Thousands of school staff are starting a 3-day strike, closing LA's public schools.
The Service Employees International Union, Local 99, is demanding a 30% wage increase and better benefits for school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, security, and teachers' aides.
Gina Silva with Fox 11 TV in LA. The superintendent of the nation's second largest district says they were never able to have direct negotiations to avoid a strike. Two rival Asian leaders are holding dual talks in two rival countries. Japan's prime minister's in Kyiv supporting Ukraine against Russia's invasion, while China's leaders in Moscow for a second day of discussions with Vladimir Putin.
Telling Xi at one point, China has made a colossal leap ahead in its development in recent years. It's causing genuine interest all around the world, and we even feel a bit envious. We will discuss all those issues, including your initiative that we highly respect.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. President Biden's about to establish two new national monuments to protect over 500,000 acres of public land.
Aviquame National Monument in Nevada and Kastner Range National Monument in Texas. The White House says Aviquame will honor tribal nations and indigenous peoples, while the Kastner Range Monument will expand access to the outdoors for the El Paso community and honor U.S. veterans and service members.
Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Back and forth over gender-affirming care. It's mostly sunny, 40 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. At the State House this hour.
Senate Bill 480 is part of the Slate of Hate, a historic number of bills that single out LGBTQ Hoosiers.
Debate over a bill banning gender-affirming care for trans kids. That was Katie Blair with the ACLU speaking against it before the full House chamber this morning. The bill, which already passed the Senate, would make it illegal to give hormone therapy, puberty blockers, or even surgery to children looking to change their gender in Indiana. The University of Indianapolis has a new president. Dr. Tanjua Singh will take the head job at UIndy starting July 1st. Singh is currently the provost and senior VP of academic affairs at Loyola University in Chicago. An argument between neighbors ends with two people shot on the east side early this morning at an apartment complex near 10th and Shadeland.
It could have been a simple mistake. But again, it's not worth resorting to gun violence to solve your problem.
IMPD Captain Don Weilhammer, he says they believe it was a mother and her teenage son who were wounded. They are both stable at a hospital. A man accused of robbery was arrested by Indy Metro Police. Harrison Silcox.
That man is Trelandis Moore, and IMPD detectives believe the 21-year-old was using Facebook Marketplace to pull off the crimes. He was arrested March 16th, 2 days after police responded to a robbery and identified him as the suspect. Detectives believe he's been involved in these robbery cases dating back to September of last year. He had a gun with him when the cops arrested him, and police are still investigating. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
An abrupt end to the season for the IU women.
It hurts right now, but it should. I mean, we work hard, and winning is hard. And those kids are upset. They're emotional right now.
Head coach Terry Moran after the Hoosiers lost to Miami in the women's NCAA tournament Monday night. IU finishes with a program record 28 wins in a single season. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Chain Company, we know that when it comes to jewelry, everyone has their own sense of style. With the largest selection of unique fine jewelry, it will be easy to find something perfect for you. I'm a Chain Company jewelry consultant, and I love helping people find something that speaks to them. Every piece here is special, made with love and care. At Chain Company, we're known for our stunning sapphires. We have every color of the rainbow. Choose a style with your favorite sapphire color, or choose one of our other beautiful gemstones like deep blue tanzanite or red ruby. If you gravitate to bold classics, our diamond hoop earrings and yellow gold chains really stand out. Maybe you prefer a more subtle look, like a simple gold band for stacking or a dainty necklace with a sparkling diamond. At Chain Company, we have jewelry for every personality. If you need some ideas, talk to one of us. We don't work on commission, so you'll never feel rushed. Visit us and have fun wearing jewelry that's an expression of you.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're
listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 21st. It is 6 minutes after 10. It's 93 WIBC. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. Thank you for joining us. You can also watch on YouTube. Just type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar, and there we are. So Donald Trump has declared that he is the victim of a stormy, quote, Horseface Daniels extortion plot. Said he's being targeted by a series of horrible, radical left Democrat investigations. He believes he's on the cusp of being arrested this week, although I did read this morning that they're saying, no, that may not happen until next week.
Okay, so what did we say yesterday, Casey, that would be out of the realm of possibility that he just started freewheeling? And he viewed it as, I'm in a no-lose situation because, again, every talk station in America, all the nightly shows, everybody, it was Trump, 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 Trump. Trump is the master at getting people to do what he wants them to do because he's so damn entertaining. So would you really, it looks like, I mean, it's not going to happen today, it appears. I mean, unless there's some late announcement, there's no... You know, when this Alvin Bragg guy files the charges, if he does, there's going to be a big hoopla about it in a press conference, and he loves to see his mug in front of the camera. So it's probably not going to happen today.
Well, they were just hearing from witnesses yesterday.
Yeah. But Trump couldn't lose by saying it because, okay, he says it. But Trump has lowered the bar so much in terms of the game of expectations. Oh, Trump was wrong. Used to be that would be a big deal. If you were wrong about the day you were going to get indicted, that would have been a big deal. But it's Trump. So everybody just spends their day talking about Trump. Trump is now the victim. He forced DeSantis to address it, which he did. DeSantis did a very fine job of addressing it. But he makes himself the central focus. And if he doesn't indeed ultimately get indicted, he'll just go, well, it's because I put pressure on him.
Right. And in the meantime, he's getting more of that earned media. Right. He said, they're not coming after me. They're coming after you. I'm just standing in their way, and I will stand in their way. I will always stand in their way.
But so this is where I struggle with Trump. And I need the Trump voter. And by that, I mean, obviously, I was a Trump voter on multiple occasions. I was so supportive of Trump when he was running that I was the guy they asked to interview him. I need the Trump voter, and by Trump voter, I mean Trump, but nobody else. The person who hates DeSantis because he breathes air or whatever. I need you to call our hotline and explain away some things to me, okay? Because this would really help me square with voting for Trump again, maybe even in a primary. So 317-684-8444 is the phone number. How do I excuse Trump putting all these establishment swamp creatures in his inner circle? If he went there to drain the swamp, why did he pick Mitch McConnell's wife to be in his cabinet? Why did he pick Christopher Wray to be director of FBI? Why did he keep Comey around originally? Why did he put people like Bill Barr in that position of attorney general? Why did he pick Dan Coates? I mean, he created a lot of problems for himself by the people that he put around him. That's one question that I have. If you're going to drain the swamp, you told me you were going to go drain the swamp the last time, and you surrounded yourself
with swamp creatures,
with swamp people. So why should I feel bad for you?
Well, he has answered that question, if you believe him.
I don't believe anything he says.
Because he said he didn't know how deep the swamp was and how bad it was, and now he needs more time to go back.
Casey, his whole campaign was how he was going to do that, but he didn't know.
Right.
He just didn't know. He thought he could put Mitch McConnell's wife in his cabinet.
Well, he said he was an outsider. He's not from Washington.
So now Trump's playing stupid. I've never heard him do that before. The other thing, but The other thing that is very important for me, and I don't know how you square this, and I don't know why the Trump people just ignore this or say it's okay, is Trump's repeatedly egregious behavior during COVID. Trump signed off and was a cheerleader for all that money getting printed. Trump signed off and was a cheerleader on bribing states to shut down. Trump signed off and was a cheerleader in chief on the COVID shot. Trump was a cheerleader in chief in the beginning and kept putting Fauci out there.
Yeah.
He
didn't want to put himself out there, though.
He could have fired Fauci.
Yeah.
So how do you, the Trump voter, and by Trump voter I mean Trump but no one else, excuse and square, and why are you willing to die on the hill for this guy who repeatedly did all these things that should drive you crazy?
Yeah. It's like you're just selective memory, believing some, but not all of it. And the bad stuff, no, we're just going to ignore that. Push that over there.
So I would be curious to know, we'll play some of those tomorrow, 317-684-8444. Those are the specific things that I would want answers to. Kevin McCarthy, now we know he is basically a hostage victim at this point, masquerading as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Yes, used to be a really dependable ally of Trump, spoke on his defense. He said, here we go again, an outrageous abuse of power by a radical DA.
Kevin McCarthy's got to
he's got to keep riding that wave.
Well,
now he went there, so he's got to keep going with it.
Kevin McCarthy is in a pretty miserable position, which good. He deserves to be in a miserable position because Kevin McCarthy will inevitably screw over the American people. He's just waiting for the opportunity. But he knows in order to hang on to his speakership, he's got to be totally beholden to about 20 people who put a whole bunch of rules and regulations in, which we shall be very happy they did because people like Jim Banks just willfully voted for him 15 times and got nothing in terms of concessions. But McCarthy knows at any time if 5 people revolt, he could basically be removed.
Yeah,
so he does have to pretend to like Donald Trump and actually care about the treatment of Donald Trump.
Who is walking the finer line at this point? Is it McCarthy or is it Pence? It's like they're both trying to ride that. They're threading that needle.
That's a great question. The answer is clearly Kevin McCarthy because McCarthy has something to lose. Mike Pence has as much chance of being elected to anything now as you or I do, and we are not running for anything, nor do we want to run for anything. Kevin McCarthy desperately needs to be Speaker of the House of Representatives. So here is Kevin McCarthy talking about people going after Trump and how the meanness in politics and how you
weaponization.
Yes, of all the stuff. He's doing his best to pretend like he actually cares.
It doesn't matter if this was President Trump or if this was a Democrat. It should be equal justice in America. And stop going after people because you have political differences. I see people all the time that I have political differences. I respect their opinion. I may disagree with it, but why would you ever try to use the law for it? And it goes directly against everything that this Manhattan DA has professed. He brags about lowering felonies to misdemeanors and not prosecuting. We've watched crime in New York where people are afraid to walk the streets. We watched campaigns, and I will tell you, one of the reasons we won races in New York is based upon this DA of not protecting the citizens of New York. And now he's spending his time on this?
He sounds so weak.
Does he sound like he's whining? Do you remember the scene in Forrest Gump where they've got Lieutenant Dan, they're on the shrimp boat and they're trying to catch the shrimp, and Forrest Gump says, how are we gonna get them? That's what it reminds me of.
This is why it amazes me that so many of these conservatives were willing to die on the hill for this guy, including Jim Banks. It's like you listen to that and you go, that's the fighter that's going to stand up to Biden? That's Kev. Can we play the beginning of that again? I'll tell you when to cut it off because I want to. There's something that he says that really, really bothers me in there because we're led to believe that this is the guy who's going to stand up and fight Joe Biden on the spending and inflation. And when I listen to this, there's just no way. Go ahead.
It doesn't matter if this was President Trump or if this was a Democrat. It should be equal justice in America. And stop going after people because you have political differences. I see people all the time that I have political differences. I respect their opinion.
Okay, stop. Stop. They don't respect you.
Yeah.
It's like going to a gunfight and bringing a knife to a gunfight. They don't respect you. This is why Trump got in the position he was in, because he kept thinking whether it was the swamp or the Democrats, he kept thinking, oh, I can negotiate with these people. I can get along with them. No, they hate you. They hate you. And the idea that Kevin McCarthy, just please stop.
Can't we all get along?
Stop.
How are we going to find them?
Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans will fold on the debt ceiling. They will fold on the spending. They've already folded on entitlement reform. That is not a fighter. That is a guy who just wants to be in power and is with blink twice if you're okay, Kevin.
How can we make this just go away? I don't want to deal with this. Well, Michael Cohen's former legal advisor, Robert Costello, he appeared before the Trump grand jury. And
Cohen is Trump's former attorney.
He's the guy who wrote the check to Stormy Daniels.
Yes, he then ended up going to prison. Cohen thought Trump was going to be done for. Cohen ended up being the one being done for. Cohen is a super sketchy guy.
Convicted perjurer.
You would trust him as far as you could throw him.
Now, Michael, so Robert Costello says that Cohen is far from solid evidence.
I'm the one who decided to do this. A lot of people cautioned me against it because I had nothing to gain. The only thing I'm doing is trying to tell the truth to the grand jurors, because I read all these lies in the media that are being promoted by one side. If you see the full picture, listen, if they want to go after Donald Trump and they have solid evidence, so be it. But Michael Cohen is far from solid evidence. This guy, by any prosecutor's standard, and I used to be deputy chief of the criminal division in the Southern District of New York, I wouldn't have touched a guy like Michael Cohen, especially if he's a convicted perjurer. Not to mention, as I said, the 50 to 100 lies he told us that are in those 330 emails.
So why are they calling him to testify? I mean, if he is a convicted perjurer. He's known for lying.
Because he will tell them what they want to hear. It's the same reason that look at the January 6th committee. Who did they call? People who told them what they want to hear. Look, here is what very likely happened, okay? And I don't think it's a stretch. Donald Trump had a rendezvous with Stormy Daniels. I mean, we're going to get to next hour, the story where Melania left him for days. I mean, dude, it's Trump. It happened, okay? Trump, I think Trump is a person who has throughout his life in business had people who are fixers. Most successful people, especially in the era in which Trump came of wealth
and rose in promise.
Right. You have people who fix the things for you. Okay, we got to write a check for whatever. Okay, cool. Let's just make it go away. And I don't care. I'm sure he has written a gajillion of these sorts of checks for various reasons. Cohen and those people probably came to him and said, Stormy Daniels is going to tell everybody about your affair if you don't write her a check, and we have been able to negotiate X amount, and it would be bad for your campaign. And Trump probably was like, okay, cool, do it. I mean, there's audio, there's recorded audio of him talking about it with Cohen that Cohen put out that didn't prove anything. It proved that Trump was just like, okay, well, whatever we got to do. And that's the end of it. Now, Trump is lying to people. I mean, I'm totally convinced that Trump is lying to people when he talks about not having any sort of encounter with, Stormy Daniels. I mean, come on, dude. Dude, she described your unit in epic detail. I mean, come on. Stormy Daniels is not exactly an honest person, but you notice Trump didn't really refute any of it. If Trump's manhood, and we're running way long here, but if Trump's manhood were not as she had described it, because she did not give a flattering description.
He's called it his unit. He would love that.
He would have probably just pulled it out in a press conference and gone, see, look, it's not even anything like, I mean, come on. But the point is, whether he did or didn't do it, he keeps talking about it over and over and over and over, and he is the one who keeps us a front page story. He will not let it go with her, and that is so weird.
Well, that's so like him, though. He's like,
Stop talking.
Right. Okay, it's 19 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
In the Matt Bear Tournament of Traffic, it's win and go home.
It's taken a lot of work to get here. You just want to advance through the field.
All right, traffic is really backing up on the south.
And to do that, you've got to drive the lanes.
2 vehicle crash blocking the left and center lanes.
You guys know this. You've got to find the openings and take your shots.
Updating your traffic bracket. Mornings and afternoons.
Prepare.
Construction backups brutal. Watch for the zones.
March Matt Bear Traffic Madness is on 93 WIBC.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you paying attention to China, Russia, and Ukraine? Any reminders of the Cold War days? If you've been on the fence about buying gold and silver, now is the time to make the call. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call Oxford Gold right now and ask about bonus opportunities you may be eligible for. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Announcing Palavana Cubano, the newest and tastiest Cuban sandwich restaurant in Indy, located in the Garage Food Hall in the Battle Works district. Palavana Cubano is dedicated to serving authentic, mouth-watering Cuban sandwiches, coffee, and pastries. If you have never tried a Cuban, you're in for a treat. A warm and inviting atmosphere with colorful decor that pays tribute to the vibrant culture of Cuba. For a quick lunch or relaxing dinner with friends, Palavana Cubano is the perfect destination.
Skyworks Equipment Rental of Indianapolis has immediate openings for experienced parts coordinators, heavy equipment mechanics, CDL drivers, and outside sales reps. Full-time with medical, disability, PTO, 401k, and more. Apply today at skyworksllc.com/jobs. Skyworks, building America from the ground up.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You need to figure out what kind of a show you're going to be.
Just look at that girl with the lights coming up in her
He's coming, Casey.
I know. That is one of the things people are talking about this morning. Jackson Browne is going to be playing at the Brown County Music Center in Nashville.
Oh.
The show is set for Monday, June 19th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m.
Now, last year, I made the egregious mistake of going on my honeymoon during the Jackson Browne concert at White River.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I owe it to myself.
Big regret of your life? That you took your bride to somewhere on a honeymoon versus seeing Jackson Browne?
Well, there was a moment where I tried to schedule it where I thought I had nothing going on, and then I remembered that was going on. And have you ever, you have probably not because you're a decent person, Kev, have you ever had a moment where you've committed to something you can't uncommit to, but you are pondering there is a way in which you may be able to pose the question that might
without
allow
getting in trouble?
Yes. Like you would say, do you really want to go to Vegas?
Are you sure you really want to go on a honeymoon?
Wouldn't a trip to the White River concert series be more your speed?
No, I can't believe you would even think about that.
Well,
people say that I must be so patient and that I'm a nice person by working with you every day. But let's be honest, G really gets the gold star.
Oh, she hit the jackpot when she married me, Casey. And I stewed on it for about 3 days, and there was no logical way that I could maneuver that question. So this year.
All right. Well, you've got your chance coming up, okay?
But it's all the way in
Brown County?
Brown County.
All the way.
That's a long trip.
Oh, Rob, you need to get out of your bubble at some point in your life.
Well, that's much further than the White River.
People are also talking about Amanda Bynes this morning. The actress was found walking down the streets of downtown L.A. naked. She is currently hospitalized on a psychiatric hold. Now, you remember Amanda Bynes. She was a Nickelodeon star, had a couple shows, and, well, now we won't be hearing from her for a bit. And finally, people are talking about this. After the Chinese spy balloon, do you remember Biden said that he would talk with Xi Jinping?
Yes.
When do you think that's going to happen?
I'm going to put that in the category of never, Casey.
Okay, well, John Kirby, White House spokesperson, was asked the question, and he just can't say because it's just not scheduled.
It's been about a week since President Biden said he was going to speak to President Xi soon. Is that call been scheduled yet, John?
It hasn't been scheduled, Caitlin, but the president very much wants to have another conversation with President Xi. It's really important that we keep these lines of communication open between the United States and China, the most consequential bilateral relationship in the world. The president wants to keep those lines open. We'll do that, and he'll have a call with President Xi at the appropriate time.
Okay. So currently, the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, is in Moscow having 3-day talks with Vladimir Putin. And here's another question for you. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he would visit Palestine, Ohio? East Palestine?
No, I don't remember that. Did he say that?
Oh, yeah.
Did he say that? Does he know he said that? Did he say it in a definitive, clearly formed sentence?
He said when the time was right.
Oh, well, I thought you meant like he said a date. No, I thought you meant like he said a date. He said, I will go here and be there.
He said sometime soon.
No, that's not a date.
Has he been?
No, that's my point. I thought you had broke some news that I had missed.
No, I'm just raising the question, letting you know that it's been a month and a half and he still has not gone. It's 10:27. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And up next, we're going to hear from you with your voicemails.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Indianapolis is under attack, at war with rampant crime, drugs, and homelessness. But Mayor Hogsett is unwilling to join the fight. In fact, under Mayor Hogsett, Indianapolis now has a murder rate higher than Chicago. Do you feel safe knowing that? But Jefferson Shreve is ready to take back Indianapolis. Jefferson Shreve will put more cops on the street and give them the support they need. We don't have to live like this. Jefferson Shreve is ready to rebuild, restore, and reimagine Indianapolis. He's a winner in business, so he knows how to lead a team to turn things around. No more empty talk. It's time for action. Because another term for Mayor Hogsett is another 4 years of the same problems, only worse. This may send Hogsett a message. Vote for Jefferson Shreve for a change. Paid for by Shreve for Mayor.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What you can expect. It's mostly sunny, 43 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Documents on COVID in the White House will be made public soon. Fox's Eben Brown.
President Biden Monday signed a bill requiring declassification of information obtained by the federal government on the origins of the novel coronavirus, which led to the COVID pandemic. The legislation passed both the House and Senate in a bipartisan fashion. The president says he shares the goal of Congress in wanting to make as much information public as possible. Eben Brown, Fox News.
New York City authorities are stepping up security in anticipation of a possible arrest of former President Trump. Barricades are set up around Trump Tower and outside criminal court in Lower Manhattan. The grand jury hearing at Trump's possible hush money payment case involving adult film actress Stormy Daniels is expected to reconvene tomorrow. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's a patio show every day at Indy Decorative Concrete. Hi, Audrey Artisan here with Indy Decorative Concrete. We may not have flowers, admission fees, or parking fees, but what we do have is the city's best showroom for stamped concrete. Come in and see actual examples of endless patterns, textures, and colors to create the patio of your dreams. Stop in and see for yourself. We're on the city's southeast side off of Brookville Road and 465. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Ensure your comfort year-round. Join Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling Service Club from Johnson County's premier dealer. Call themarshallnow.com, your American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine.
Good morning. It is 10:32. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Our phone number, 317-684-8444. If you'd like to contribute with your voicemails, questions, comments, smart remarks, whatever is on your mind, Rob would be happy to go through all those phone calls and select the finest of the finest.
Okay, so Drake, our super fan, listener extraordinaire, called. He has an idea on something he would like to see with the WIBC air staff.
Hey, Robin Casey, it's your boy Drake. Everyone's complaining and giving their opinion on Indiana's politics. Well, here's mine. This is what we got to do to make Indiana a better place. Let's make Guy Relford the Attorney General. Let's make Nigel the mayor of Whitestown. Let's get our buddy Abdul to be the mayor, the next mayor of Indianapolis. Let's make Rob Kendall the governor of Indiana. Bada bing, bada boom. And let's go ahead and make our beautiful Jason Hammer the secretary, the press secretary for everyone. That'd be one heck of a good job. Anyways, love you guys. Be good. Make good choices. Cheerio.
Well, all of those are very possible, except for me being governor, because I will never run. Well, I shouldn't say never. I will very likely never run for anything ever again. So I nominate Casey in that position.
No,
you are the beautiful face and mind our state needs. Other than that, I think it'd be great. I think Nigel as the mayor of Zionsville would be exactly what that beautiful little town needs.
I can't run for any political office. One, you would miss me too much.
Well, that's true, yes.
And two, my next job is already predetermined, which is head of refilling the vending machines.
Ah, very good.
We already know that. And congratulations to Drake, who's has a baby on the way.
Yes, we love Drake.
He said that he had to go get a new speaker system for his wife. They're going to put headphones on her belly so that she can listen to WIBC in private, quietly.
What is wrong with that guy? We love you, Drake. All right. So as many of our audience know, Abdul has disappeared from the WIBC airwaves because he is running for mayor of Indianapolis. And he will be one of multiple Republicans who are competing. And there is another guy running against him who is garnering a lot of media publicity because he has what we like to call infinite money. And somebody called to ask about this guy who is running ads all over television and ads here on WIBC. And somebody wanted to know, who is this person?
Tapping into Rob's extensive knowledge of local and state politics. There's his last name is Shreve. I've seen him on several television advertisements running for mayor of Indianapolis. I don't live in Indianapolis, but it could be a turning point. But what I'm getting at is, can Rob tap into some source of information and talk about this? His last name is Shreve. He says his first name, but I didn't catch it. But he's a Republican running against Hogsett.
Okay, so full disclosure with this, Abdul and I are best of friends, and I am supporting Abdul's run for mayor, but we will certainly tell you who this guy is because no matter who wins the primary, I will support them. I would support an orange peel, an aging potato skin, an apple core.
My shoe.
Yes, whatever to get Joe Hogsett out of this city. So if this guy wins, if Abdul wins, there's another person running. If they win, I'm supporting Robin Shackelford in the Democrat primary against Joe Hogsett. We have to get rid of Joe Hogsett. This city cannot sustain 4 more years of the gruesome twosome of Ryan Mears and Joe Hogsett. So I want to just get that out there. So this guy's name is Jefferson Shreve. He has twice been on the Indianapolis City County Council from 13 to 16 and 18 to 19. And again, he is his kind of claim to fame is he is an uber wealthy businessman. He owned a company called Storage Express. He sold it last year, Casey. Would you like to take a guess on how much he sold his business for last year? Price is Right rules.
Okay.
Kev, I'm going to get you in on this too. So the name of the business, just give me the name, Storage Express. Owned by Jefferson Shreve, who was candidate for mayor on the Republican side. Guess how much he sold Storage Express for?
$2.5 million.
$2.5 million. Okay, we have $2.5 million. Kev, how much do you think Jefferson Shreve sold Storage Express for last year?
I'm going to say $2 million.
So $2 million, $2.5 million, $590 million. Casey, you have won the grand prize.
What? $590 million?
That is according to the Indianapolis Star. Yes. So he, like I said, he is has what we call infinite money.
Kevin thought I was high, and he was like, "No, I'm going to go with $2 million." She went over.
Yeah, you think Storage Express? It's probably like a park somewhere, or you throw your undesirables, but no, it is.
I'm gathering it's a storage company. How many? Clearly, they've got multiple locations.
Yeah, whatever it was, it had $590 million worth of worth to someone.
Wow,
according to IndyStar. So he is. Now let's do the math here. All right, Casey, maybe you can do this on your handy dandy cellular telephone.
Sure.
So your let's say your state tax rate is 3. I'm going to just do math real quick, and then I'm going to ask you to do this. 3.3 for the state tax rate when he sold it. Let's say your federal tax rate, 32. Let's say he got to keep, by the time all the taxes were in, because he lives here, Indianapolis has high taxes. Let's say he got to keep 63%. So whatever 590 million times 0.63 is.
590 times 0.63. Oh boy, 371.
So let's say he has $371 million by which to play with. I don't know that for sure. I'm just doing math off the top of my head. I mentioned this because there an article that came out in IndyStar.
Yeah, he just spent $600K.
Yeah, he has dropped $600K into this race doing TV on Wish TV, WTHR, RTV, Fox 59, and ads that you hear all the time on WIBC. Right. So interesting guy doesn't change my view of who I'm supporting, but a very interesting guy who clearly can make an argument to people, and I think he will, of, look, I've been in the government. I've operated in the government. I've clearly been very successful in business, and I have infinite personal wealth by which to spend because I'm rich and bored.
Wow, that's a whole lot of money. And
it's a pretty compelling argument to make, right? Like, Abdul better start knocking on doors because this guy's going to just blitz the airwaves.
Right. Well, maybe he'll come on and do an interview with us.
I would totally love to have him on. I mean, look, again, whoever wins
Jefferson
this primary.
Shreve, this is your personal invitation.
We need more rich friends
to come on the Kendall and Casey show and let us know what you're all about.
Yeah, I would be interested to have him on because clearly whoever the Republican, at least I had thought, was going to have a terrible funding disadvantage.
I would have to think somebody like that, he must really care about Indianapolis and Central Indiana.
Or he's very bored. He also may just be very bored.
Well, okay, you can be bored, but with that kind of money, you can find something to entertain yourself. Go buy a yacht. Go golfing.
Why do you? No. I'm not ceding that ground to you because why do you think Mike Braun keeps office hopping? He's very bored. He went from school board to state rep to senator. He'd never done any of them well. He just keeps moving on to the next thing. He's a rich guy with a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I'm sure Hammer will back me up when he comes in. We need more rich friends. Think of the sports betting damage we could do if Jefferson Shreve were our friend. Anyway, so that's who he is. All right, somebody called about, we've had a lot of talk about DEI, and, we like to peg this on the liberals and the lefties, but we've pointed out many times that here in our own Republican state government, we've got DEI all over the place. Somebody called about that.
Hey, Rob, Kendall, I need you to mansplain something to me. Was listening today, you were talking about the state retirement fund. And the state has a DEI officer. And I'm just wondering what your take is on what this cat's duty actually is and his contribution. It's a high-paid position under the governor, and that's great. But the only thing from an employee perspective that I can tell that they've actually done is you want me to change my pronoun on my signature block, and I don't think that's necessary. You might choose not to. So I'm just wondering, mansplain this, Rob, what's your take on the state DEI position? What exactly does that do for us? Thanks.
Well, this person was implemented, I believe, this was during or shortly after the Summer of Love, when Eric Holcomb, you may remember Eric Holcomb did the meet and greet with Malik Muhammad, let him write part of the police reform bill. Now, Malik Muhammad, of course, sitting in jail in Portland for attempting to kill cops. I believe he got a 10-year sentence. And that only happened because Eric Holcomb let him walk after he threatened to seize the governor's mansion on live television. Holcomb instituted this person, and we had said at the time, Eric Holcomb has been governor of this state for 3 going on 4 years. Is Eric Holcomb saying that his own administration is filled with such raging racists that he must give someone a 6-figure salary plus benefits to be a diversity, equity, and inclusion coordinator? Is that the guy was essentially indicting himself? You have been in charge, and now you're just waking up one day and going, well, all my people are just a bunch of lunatic racists. We must give somebody a 6-figure salary plus benefits in order to not be racist. No, of course, it's crap. It's complete crap like everything else Eric Holcomb does. It's all bunk. All right, let's get out of here with one more phone call. Remember yesterday, we somehow got on KFC. I forget how we got on the KFC.
It was one of the trending
story, wasn't it?
Right,
yes.
that it was being rumored that they offer free refills on their buckets of chicken.
Yes, and then we got on the KFC buffet. And Kev told me he has never been to a KFC buffet,
right,
which is an egregious mistake on Kevin's part. But this guy, Angelo, remember Angelo? He's the guy, describes himself as the poorest conservative in Carmel, who is paying the child support. I believe this is the same guy paying the child support until he's like 74.
78, something like that.
Very into his 70s.
Congratulations.
And we were just amazed by this.
Yeah.
But he called, and you are a little more seasoned than me, so you need to be a little more seasoned to offer some historical perspective on this.
I'll do my best.
Maybe you can confirm whether he's full of crap or not.
Okay.
All right.
I just heard about the Kentucky Fried Chicken free refills, which reminded me, before I went in the Army, you always had to pay for soda refills. That was before 1971.
I come out of the Army December of 78, and there's free refills. So you guys rock. Take it easy.
I love that he's like, there was a great movie Brendan Fraser did early on in his career called Blast from the Past, where Christopher Walken is his father, and it's in the 1950s, and they accidentally think there's been a nuclear attack on America, and they have a bomb shelter in their basement, and he goes into a bomb shelter for like 20 years and comes out, and of course everything is different.
Yeah.
That's why I picture that guy. He comes out of the Army. There's free refills on the... Is that a thing?
What's going on?
Do you remember that?
Is he talking about KSC?
No, I think he's talking about like
or
soda
just in general.
In general.
Yeah, no, there never used to be free refills anywhere. You would have to pay. But now he said 1978. Sorry, Rob, I may be more seasoned, but I was 8 years old in 1978, so I wasn't paying for anything myself. Mom and Dad had that.
Well, you were a leecher. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a leecher at 8 years old. I can't wait until your daughter's born.
Some of us were cutting grass. We were painting barns. Some of us were living off the land.
Yeah, no, you never had free refills anywhere. Yeah, no, that wasn't a thing.
I wonder why that started.
Well, it was the self-serve fountain.
Oh, yeah.
Those weren't out.
Oh, you had to go to the counter.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of a new thing. And I think once they couldn't stop people from giving themselves free refills.
Yeah, they just raised the price of the soda.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And now you can get as much as you want.
Yeah, there's nothing's free. You're totally paying for it.
Yeah. Hammer's joining us next. It's 93 WIBC. Hey, Rob M. Kendall.
Yes, Casey Daniels, 317.
How would you feel if you lost out on $111,000 in retirement income?
Well, you know how I am with money, Casey. It doesn't really mean I would be really angry.
Well, get this. 96% of Americans do lose out on an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Hey, it's Kendall and Casey.
Learn how you could avoid this potential mistake with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. We trust Bill Demery so much, we are now clients of Bill Demery. If you've saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912. Bill does all the heavy lifting for you, and he won't charge you a dime.
Call 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Learn the answers to frequently asked financial questions and get the latest investment news to help you get the most of your money. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
Hey, Tamer and Nigel for Window Nation. Have you noticed your energy costs have been rising dramatically? Nationwide energy prices have increased over 14% since last year. It isn't too late to do something to fix your high energy bills. Beat the spring rush with the last month of off-season pricing at Window Nation. Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy with 0 down payment, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. New windows will pay for themselves with the energy savings on your energy bills, and you will pay nothing for 2 full years with 0% financing, saving you hundreds of dollars.
Go with the window company that has installed nearly 2 million windows, including mine. 866-90-NATION. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. No limit. Plus, no down payment, no payments, no interest for 24 months. This offer won't last long. Call Window Nation right now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
What really stands out about Shane Company is the vibe here. It's fun and welcoming. Hey there, I'm a Shane Company jewelry consultant, and my team and I will work together to make sure you have the best experience possible. We want you to feel at ease. It's a family business, and we'll treat you like family. We'll do whatever it takes to help you find what you're looking for, and respect your budget. There are a lot of great things we offer at Shane Company that other jewelers don't, like the largest selection of styles in every price range and endless options to personalize your jewelry. Did you know you can create a necklace or ring starting with one of our beautiful gemstones and then watch our master jewelers at work? That's right. There's a jeweler workshop here in our store. That means you can see firsthand the craftsmanship and attention to detail they put into everything they do. If you've never been here, visit us today and see what we have to offer. It's more than fine jewelry. It's a really fun time.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and Shaneco.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. We continue to save our new customers 30 to 40% when compared to their present individual or small group coverages.
Many of our plans feature zero deductible and zero copays, coverage guaranteed to age 65, and the largest network in the nation with 2 A-rated companies. We've been in the same location, the same phone number for 27 years. We'll be here when you need us. My early mentor in the insurance business was fond of saying, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always have what you always had. If you're unhappy with your present coverage and price, stop doing what you've always done. Call us at 317-435-1718 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-435-1718 or rragency.org. Thought for the day, if our country's such an awful place, why do millions come here to be free? God bless America, or at least what she used to be.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It is 10:52. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Hammer joins us in the studio.
Biden Madness Final Four is underway. Man, we got a good one brewing right now. The first national semifinal game, You Ain't Black taking on Where's Jackie.
Yeah.
Now, the voting goes just until 4 o'clock today. So a little bit before 4 o'clock, that's the cutoff time. I think it's like 3:55. So You Ain't Black, this was the runner-up in the first Biden Madness that we did. We only brought back 2 clips. Everything else is brand new from the last 3 years. But this one managed to pull a few upsets. Here it is in the Final Four. And for those who aren't familiar, this is where Joe Biden, during the campaign of 2020, was speaking to radio host Charlemagne the God.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
You ain't black.
Strong one. And he got away with it.
Got away with it.
So racist.
Again, we've said this before, but can you imagine if Ron DeSantis came out and said, if you can't figure out whether you're for DeSantis or Trump, then you ain't white.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren, you ain't an Indian. I mean, it's so ridiculous when you say it out loud.
Nikki Haley, you ain't a woman.
Right. Somewhere, though, like the Supreme Court justice. Well, we're not biologists.
Right.
So You Ain't Black is taking on, again, a clip that's not even funny. Like, it makes me sad. It makes me angry that Joe Biden is such a buffoon, where just a couple of weeks after the passing of Jackie Walorski and her staff in a car crash, keep in mind, Joe Biden has named buildings after her at this point, has talked about her passing, and has put flags at half staff. He was wondering where she was at for a speech.
I want to thank all of you here, for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Do you remember right after that, Karine Jean-Pierre had the press conference and she was saying, well, she was top of mind. That's why he was looking for her. That made me so angry. And that was just the worst argument ever, because if she was top of mind, he would remember that she had just passed away.
100%. You're absolutely right. And then on top of that, Whoopi Goldberg followed up on The View by saying, well, it's not like she died 10 years ago.
Right.
Which
More
makes
to the
it even,
point. She's
makes it even
talking
worse.
point. Yes, this is recent.
You just named a building after this woman because of her passing. Now, again, I've never been in a situation where I've had to name a building after somebody because they've died. But if I had a speech 2 weeks later, I think I would probably remember that if I'm in my right mind.
Now, I know that you say that the Where's Jackie clip makes you angry and that you don't want that to win. And I'm on the other side of that because Jackie Walorski was my rep in South Bend for many years. And I think that that's a good way to honor her.
And I can see
Hammer
both
and
sides
Nigel,
of that.
Biden madness.
I can see both sides of that.
And
Absolutely.
let's really be honest. I mean, one of these two is going to win, and then the JV game is over, and we get to the varsity game because at 4:48, then Happy Birthday Velvet is back on the ballot.
So 4:48 today, after we announced the winner of the previous matchup, taking the court, you've got Happy Birthday Velvet taking on America in a Single Word.
You people, not to be a Bob Knight here, but you people better frickin' come to play today because I'm not going to sit around having watched for an entire year, having watched Velvet lose to America in a Single Word.
Now, America in a Single Word is strong because there's three different things going on in that sound clip. Number one, he can't describe America in a single word. It's multiple words of gibberish. Number two, there's this bizarre story of him being buddy-buddy with Xi Jinping hiking through the Himalayas like it's some sort of, buddy comedy. And then at the very end, he wraps it all up by saying, I can't prove that.
Here's one thing I do think you made a mistake with the Velvet clip, and maybe you can correct this. I know it's last minute. In the actual clip, when he gets done, he just randomly goes, well.
He's waiting for someone to blow out the candles.
Real quick, we got about a minute or so left here, I think. Our dear friend Pat Sullivan is going through something with his story. You want to fill everybody in with what's going on with that?
So there was a shooting near Pat Sullivan's store yesterday. Happened at the gas station across the street, and stray gunfire came across the street, went through a window, and it hit one of his employees, a young lady that was doing everything right, going to work, and she's in bad shape. So... And I know Pat's broken up because that's one of his employees, and it's heartbreaking. It's damn ridiculous that Indianapolis has turned into South Central with these types of situations happening all the time.
You can get shot going to work.
Yes.
You're working.
She's inside the store, going to work, doing everything right, and she gets shot in the head.
It's unbelievable.
And she's fighting, and thoughts and prayers to this young lady. And Pat Sullivan, if you're listening, buddy, hang in there too.
We love you.
What's coming up this afternoon?
Oh, we're loaded. We got Biden madness. We're on arrest watch. Bobby Burak of Outkick, Francis Martell of Breitbart, and Tuesdays with Tony Katz.
Good job, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Separate my side.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
In business, everything your employees do impacts your brand, including what they wear. Cintas has high-performance workplace apparel for almost every job imaginable. From work shirts and pants, to polos and khakis, to Oxfords or T-shirts, these clothes move, breathe, and look great. Your team gets the styles they like, you convey the image you want. And Cintas service includes weekly laundry and delivery. To learn more, visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what's being said at the State House when it comes to gender-affirming care and who UIndy has hired to be their new president. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
He wants Vladimir Putin to come to his country. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. China's leader Xi Jinping made the invite in day 2 of talks with Russia's leader in Moscow.
China sort of wants to control the world. I think they're setting up an alliance that would allow China to provide weapons because Putin's losing.
So Republican Senator Lindsey Graham tells Fox he's urging President Biden to designate Russia a state sponsor of terror, which would then put sanctions on China if it provided weapons. Now, the U.S. is expected to announce today a reworked plan to send Abrams tanks to help Ukraine fend off the invasion sooner.
Delivery is reportedly being sped up. Reuters says the Pentagon hopes to have refurbished vehicles shipped out as soon as the next 8 to 10 months, about a year sooner than anticipated.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. In New York City, anti-Trump protesters chanting indict, indict, and no one is above the law. Outside the Manhattan DA's office as the grand jury gets close to ending its investigation that could lead to the former president being arrested. He posted on Truth Social,
"It's an absolute disgrace what's going on."
The probe is into hush money before the 2016 election paid to a porn star to keep her quiet about an alleged Trump affair. There are also protests in Los Angeles closing public schools.
When we fight, we win.
Thousands of school staffers on a 3-day strike demanding a 30% pay raise. A rebound in the housing market. Previously owned home sales rose more than 14% last month from January to the fastest pace in 6 months, snapping a year-long sales decline. The buying increase follows slight drops in home prices and mortgage rates. Now, the Federal Reserve could hike interest rates tomorrow after a 2-day meeting underway. Not just inflation, though, being monitored. There's concern about banking after 2 recent bank failures. But Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told a Bankers Association meeting this morning,
"The situation is stabilizing."
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
For and against. It's 46 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. At the State House this morning, with protesters packing the atrium, lawmakers heard testimony from experts and advocates alike about a bill to ban gender-affirming care for trans kids.
I believe this law is necessary to prevent well-meaning but misguided physicians from aggravating the emotional trauma they are attempting to treat through the experimental means of manipulating and in some cases permanently destroying their patients' otherwise healthy body parts.
Dr. Michael Padilla, who spoke in favor of the measure, others who spoke against it called the bill hateful towards trans kids. A shooting on the east side overnight has 2 people in the hospital. It was a disagreement between neighbors, say police, at an apartment near 10th and Shadeland. The 2 people who were shot are stable at the hospital. Using social media to steal from people is why a man was arrested by IMPD. Harrison Silcox.
Indy Metro Police believe 21-year-old Trelandis Moore was using Facebook Marketplace as a tool for thievery. He was arrested for robbery March 16th, and police believe he was involved in several robberies that go all the way back to September 2022. Moore was ID'd as a suspect after police responded to a robbery March 14th. He was arrested 2 days later. IMPD says the investigation is still ongoing. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The new president of the University of Indianapolis will be Dr. Tanuja Singh.
So I think of education as not just a job, but really my calling. And I know it sounds cliched, and I hope that as you get to know me, you will find that these words indeed are true.
Speaking at an introductory event on the UIndy campus this morning, she comes here from Loyola University, where she was provost as well as VP of Academic Affairs. A dry start to the week, but you can expect to wet your whistle in the coming days.
Yeah, we just got a steady light rain coming in, probably around 6 or 7 p.m., depending on where you are.
Matt Eckhoff with the National Weather Service. He says the rain will likely be sticking around until Thursday into Friday. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Winter blues are almost behind us. We can't wait to get out of the house and be more active. It sounds great, but your achy joints don't agree. There's time right now to do something about that. Tony Katz here. Stop with the steroids. Stop with the possible surgery chatter. Now there's a better way to get lasting relief. It's QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain. QC Kinetics uses healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, and then placed directly in your achy joints. It can restore and repair that damaged tissue and get you moving again without pain. The old ways of dealing with joint pain are no longer the only ways. Talk to QC Kinetics today. The consultation is free. The call is free. You have nothing to lose. And the timing is right for you to enjoy the best time of the year. Call QC Kinetics now for a totally free consultation with medical professionals in Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. Call QC Kinetics 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The idea that because some guy down the street from you sold his home, you should have to pay more taxes is wholly ridiculous. The whole thing is a giant scam.
And Casey Daniels.
Sounds like the Indiana Republican Party needs to work on their P&L statements. Taking this much, you spend this much.
On 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. And you know, Casey,
yeah,
property taxes have been kind of a big deal this year.
I've heard something about them. There's some people talking about it.
Yes. And as we've talked about many times, the Republicans are doing basically nothing to help most people with the property taxes. Mm-hmm. But somebody who does have an idea is State Representative Cherish Pryor. She's a Democrat, represents part of Indianapolis, and she joins us now to talk about maybe some things we can do with property taxes. Cherish, how are you?
I'm doing good this morning. How are you all doing?
Well, we love having you here, and we've said this many times. The Democrats will always come on our show and talk to us about ideas. The Republicans will not, so congratulations. So let's
Thank you.
Let's talk about property taxes. You obviously, we were talking before we went on the air, you represent part of 38th Street all the way over to the Colts complex.
Yes.
Why are more people in the General Assembly? It doesn't seem like the Republicans, for the most part, are motivated on this issue. It seems like they kind of went forced into even crafting any sort of legislation. Do you, when you're walking around the State House, do you hear about this from your colleagues? And if not, why don't you think more people are interested in it?
No, I don't hear a lot about it. There are a couple of organizations that have had their eye on what we're going to see in property tax bills when they start coming out, at least in Marion County around April 3rd. So there are a couple of people that have had their eye on it, but certainly not a lot of my colleagues are talking about it at all. Quite frankly, this is something that I have been talking about for probably 10 years or now, particularly in Center Township, in the areas where we have a lot of people moving in, and the older people and some of the folks in the older homes have seen their property taxes sometimes triple and double.
That's an interesting point, and then I'm going to bring Casey in here. But you have a bill that would talk about protecting, and Casey, I talk about this quite a bit. The senior citizens, some of the people on the fixed incomes, the homes below $200,000, which I want to get into. Yes. But this is a big deal, right? Where you say, hey, somebody's lived in their home their whole life. They're not monetizing the sale of the house. They're not making any money off of it, and they may be on a fixed or lower income, and yet their property taxes are triple or quadruple what they bought the home at. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, and it's just totally unfair. And for years, I've had a bill where locals, not the state would mandate, but locals would be able to decide on whether or not they would cap the increase in property tax liability. So not cap the AV, because we don't want to touch the assessed value, but say that, you know what, you've lived in these homes for years. You fought to try to make sure that your area has development come in, and now that development is coming in and people are seeing that this is a nice place and a nice area, now all these people are wanting to come in and move in, and all of a sudden you can't even afford to pay your property tax bill. And that just seems unfair to me, that someone who has invested time and energy in their community and in their home are now being forced out of their home or having to make sacrifices on what they have to pay because they can't pay their property tax bill.
Because they were there first.
They were there first, and it's just not fair. And so I have been talking about this for years. The one thing that people, when I was talking about it, the one thing is, well, several things frustrated me, quite frankly. But one of the things that frustrated me was when I heard people say, well, they should just sell their homes.
Oh.
Well, they can get this windfall of money. They should just sell their home.
Where are they going to go?
Where they're going to go?
Have to pay it on the other end as well.
They're going to have to pay it on the other end. But even beyond that, why should I have to move from a community that I love and that I invested in because their property taxes are going up so much? That's just unfair. And so I was hearing a lot about that. But now that property taxes all over the place are skyrocketing, there's a new tune even from the people who were saying that to me because, even my property taxes, the assessed value is going up $40,000 from last year.
Yeah, wow. Cherish Pryor is our guest. She's a state rep, Democrat state rep, represents part of Indianapolis. Casey.
You had mentioned that you haven't heard any of your colleagues mention any of this. Does that mean all parties, both sides?
It's really been me making a lot of hay about it. This session, though, I will say that one of my colleagues, Representative Jeff Thompson, I have to say, we do have a bill that's trying to help with some of the property tax increase. It doesn't go far enough. To me, it doesn't really address the long-term homeowners that I was just talking about. So that has been that is a problem for me. So, and then on tomorrow, we do have another bill that came over from the Senate that attempts to try to help homeowners, but it's kind of open up to everybody.
Yeah.
However, if we have to get something that does something for everybody, if it's going to help those long-term homeowners, I can support that because my thing is those long-term homeowners who are seeing those drastic increases, those folks need to be helped. But so we do have a couple of things, but quite frankly, if we had done something 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, then we would be able to help people right now because the fact of the matter is their assessed value has gone up so much. And even with the triggers that we're going to put in place, if we pass something this year, that's again an if we pass something this year.
It's no guarantee, right?
It's no guarantee. Those people are still going to be paying a whole lot more than what they would have if we had passed something 4 or 5 or 6 years ago.
And it won't take an effect until probably next year anyway.
Generally, it does not. Yeah. So, they're still going to be hit with that massive bill.
Cherish Pryor is our guest. She's a state representative, represents part of Indianapolis from 38th Street over to the Colts complex on 56th Street. So this seems like, Republicans say they're the party of low taxes and limited government. This seems like it'd be in their wheelhouse. And yet, as we've talked about, almost no Republican wants to lead on this. They don't want to do big things like you have proposed that would protect the elderly, the fixed income people. Why do you think so few people want to, lean into this topic like you have?
I don't think that people really saw the need. I don't think that some legislators thought that it was real. And it probably hadn't affected their community. And quite frankly, I work for the Marion County Treasurer's Office and Auditor's Office, so property taxes is kind of my wheelhouse, and I have a pretty good grasp and understanding of it. So as I was seeing the numbers and the data and hearing from the people, or just seeing the people in the community, I knew that it was a problem, but oftentimes, unfortunately, people don't see that there is a problem until it happens to them or in their district or in their community. But now I think that we are having the property tax situation is kind of escalating all over the place.
For everybody.
Everybody.
It's not till everybody's affected that they start paying attention.
Yeah,
Cherish Pryor's with us. I wanted to ask you specifically about House Bill 1501 and 1499. Now, can you talk to us a little bit about these and what we're trying to accomplish?
So if you're referring to my bill? Okay, so my bill, that's the bill that I've been working on for years. What the bill does is it is for the long-time homeowners. And what it says is if you've lived in your home as your homestead, so I think it's important to make this distinction. This is for homestead owners. So if you have a second home or a rental property, this doesn't apply to you. But if this is has been your homestead for 10 years, then your assessed value is $200,000 or less, and your local area designates your areas as a neighborhood enhancement district, your property taxes will not increase by more than 5% from the prior year. So it caps the increase. And if you move or if you sell your home, that new person that comes in, they pay the full amount of the property tax bill. They don't get that neighborhood enhancement district deduction because they haven't lived in that home as their homestead for 10 years. It really is. So it starts back over. The base starts over again.
It really is designed, as we talked about, it's one bill. It's one example of what we've kind of talked about, Casey, which is the people who have lived in their houses forever should not be punished.
Right. Should not be punished. And they're still paying more because I do believe that you still need to pay more because everything is costs are going up. But you shouldn't pay that drastic increase, and for a lot of big people it's drastic increases.
Is there a reason that you picked 10 years?
It just seems like a long enough time to show that the person had been invested in their community. I could have gone a little bit longer, or I don't think the shorter time would have worked because the idea is for the long time homeowners, and I didn't want people who had moved into the community and who had pushed those assessed values up. They're not the people who should get that benefit.
Cherish Pryor, state representative. Before we let you go, what should people be doing? Because it seems like our audience is very fired up about this. We get all sorts of emails, phone calls, but it just doesn't seem like your colleagues down at the State House care about this certainly to the level you do. What should people be doing to try to make some change?
A couple of things. I would say that they need to call their legislators in the House and Senate and tell them that they want them to support House Bill 1499, which is another bill that I am on, and that bill is by Representative Jeff Thompson. That's going to cap or lower the 1% cap to a 0.95 and a 0.97% in one for next year and the year after next, but it's temporary. So that's a temporary fix. So to support that bill, and then also tomorrow we're hearing Senate Bill 46 with Jack Sandlin is sponsoring. Tell them to support that bill as well. So those, particularly the one tomorrow, will focus in on those long-term homeowners.
Thank you for coming in and talking to us. The Republicans will absolutely not talk about this issue, and we really appreciate you being willing to do that.
No problem. Property taxes, that's my thing. So whenever you want to talk about it.
That's great. We love it.
The last thing is I would tell people, we don't do this enough. I think I would say that for people, if you're having a difficult time paying your property taxes, to make sure you contact the treasurer's office and get on a property tax payment plan. So one thing I want to leave people with is a way to get help. So try to get on that long-term payment plan. Make sure that you have your deductions. Also, if you're over 65, make sure you get the over 65 deduction, because the over 65 deduction is going to save you more money than any of the bills that we're proposing.
Wow.
Thank you, Cherish Pryor. We appreciate you.
Thank you. You all have a good day.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Noble Romans, I think one of the original ones is still open on 10th Street on the west side by Ben Davis.
Yeah.
That's one of the OGs of pizza places. Walking up on those little steps and you can watch them make the pizza through the giant window.
Because I saw an ad for that 10th Street Noble Romans, and I looked at the monster, and I thought, you know what? That's a pretty damn scary monster.
Right, that blue thing with the green nose.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Your neighbor Mark loves spring in Indy, but he hates to paint. So he called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
No paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When the U.S. starts telling another country to end the war now, it's time to take a hard look at your own protection plan. If you've been on the fence about buying gold and silver, it's time to act. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call Oxford Gold right now and ask about bonus opportunities you may be eligible for. Call 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
On 93 WIBC.
22 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. James Comer and Chuck Grassley, they've been investigating the Bidens for a while now. And what is it that you always say, Rob? It's a likely accidental act of journalism?
Random, confused, likely accidental.
Okay, well, that's what we have coming from CNN this morning. They say that it looks like that they may have lost their way. They say that the books on Biden don't look good.
On a certain level, just as a layperson, you hear this, and it doesn't sound good. There's a guy whose name is John Robinson Walker. He gets $3 million from a Chinese-based company and proceeds to wire it out to a bunch of people named Biden, one of whom is Hunter Biden. Another one is a company that belongs to the president's brother, James Biden, and another amount of money to Beau Biden's widow, Hallie. So, again, from a layperson, that doesn't look good.
CNN definitely singing a different tune. A year ago, they would have never said that.
Well, it's so obvious who these people are. It's so obvious what Joe Biden is. It's so obvious what Hunter Biden is. It's so obvious what Joe Biden's brother is. Now it looks like the other son's widow may be involved. Now there's rumors that the other Biden may have been Jill Biden. I mean, look, very rarely in society do you have absolutely zero skill sets whatsoever and become infinitely wealthy. They were influence peddlers. It's so obvious what that family has been for a very long time.
Also trending this morning, Dollar Tree. They say they're going to stop selling eggs because they're too expensive.
Oh, you mean like eggs that people eat?
Yeah, in the dairy cooler.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
How long can you keep an egg after the best if used by date?
Depends. Is it still raw or have you hard boiled it?
No. It's like an egg in a carton.
Okay.
And I have a couple eggs left in a carton that I saw it said best if used by March 13th. But I thought I probably have like $9 worth of eggs sitting here.
Yeah.
So how long can you go and still not get some sort of, like, I don't mind a minor ailment of some sort.
But you don't want to be throwing up for days.
Let's see if it says here on the.
How long can you go? I think a week, maybe 2.
How long?
You're probably right there. You better use those eggs.
Because my wife said no, and I was going to eat it, and she's like, you shouldn't do that. I thought,
Really?
well, you bought these eggs.
Well, she cares about you.
You're the one who didn't
Definitely
use the
don't
eggs.
let her eat them because she's the one with
How
the baby
long can
right
an
now.
egg go past expiration date? Let's see what it says. Are you ready?
Yeah.
4 to 5 weeks.
There, you're in the safe zone.
Oh, I'm totally fine.
Don't let her eat them though. Okay.
The carton's Julian date. That's the date the eggs were packed. That's not the best if used by. This is of no help. Anyway, go on.
Also trending, the Ringling Brothers. Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus has been reimagined. It's being reborn, this time without animals. They're still going to have high wire tricks and the trapeze artists and bicycles leaping off of trampolines, just no animals in the circus. And finally, the James Beard Awards. They recently released their winners for the 23 America Classics Award. These are awards for restaurants. And in the great state of Indiana, one restaurant won the prestigious National Award for its fried chicken.
Oh.
Which restaurant was that? Wagner's Village Inn in Oldenburg, Indiana.
Oldenburg? Where the hell is Oldenburg?
Is located in eastern Indiana near I-74, not too far from Cincinnati.
Okay.
So if you want some fried chicken,
You've
go
probably
to
been to
Wagner's Village
Oldenburg,
Inn.
haven't
Yeah,
you?
it's a nice little historic
I knew it.
German town.
I know it's German.
The
I
street
knew it.
signs are in German, and the police cars are. It says Polizei on them.
Have you had the fried chicken there from Wagner's Village Inn?
No, but I had very good schnitzel.
You know why I love Kev? Because Kev's an old soul. Kev's 27, and you'll ask Kev, hey, have you been to this local hotspot where all the young chicks are hanging out? Nope, never heard of it. Kev, have you been to Oldenburg? Oh, yeah, I take a tour there every year. It's got great schnitzel.
Great schnitzel there.
I should have been born in Oldenburg in the 1880s.
You could have been the mayor of Oldenburg,
Yeah,
Kev.
I would have thrived.
Still can, actually. There's plenty of time. 26 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Do you want to get into this Trump thing?
Yes, real quick.
Okay. So Melania Trump apparently spent several nights in a D.C. hotel to keep away from the White House when news broke of the alleged, are we calling it an affair? The alleged...
I don't know. Is 6 minutes count as an affair?
Is that what it
Is there a
was?
time limit? I
Okay.
think she said it was less than that.
The alleged affair between Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels. So she left. She bolted. Rather than have him spend the night on the couch, she went to some posh D.C. hotel.
Yeah, because it wasn't the thing that when the alleged indiscretion took place, she had just given birth to Barron Trump.
Who I believe today's his birthday.
Is it today?
Isn't he 17, 18?
Very tall.
He's very tall. He's
A
sprouted
giant.
up.
I guess
Yeah.
he has no athletic ability because I've heard nothing about him playing basketball.
Well, Donald Trump is very tall as well, and so is Melania.
I
so
stood right next to Donald Trump. Yes, he's a very tall human being.
makes sense.
Donald Trump takes up a lot of space. You know, some people could be tall and they don't seem big to you. He's a big person.
Yeah, definitely sticks out in a crowd. He would dwarf a lot of people. It would be like George H. Bush and Dukakis when they debated. They had to put Dukakis up on a little step stool so he didn't seem so short.
Unless you're very alpha like me, it'd be very intimidating to be around Donald Trump.
Well, apparently Donald Trump was afraid that Melania was going to dump him.
Yeah.
And
Well, he probably
She
should have
did.
been.
She did for a few hours.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I always thought this was like being married to Tony Soprano.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you've ever seen the show The Sopranos, spoiler alert, the show's been off the air for 16 years. They can probably do it now. You know, the wife, throughout the course of the show,
has to tolerate a lot of nonsense.
Exactly. And
Bada bing.
And she then does her own nonsense and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Bada bing. I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
You know what you're getting in for.
Did she?
There's no way.
Was that explained when
Melania,
they got married that he was in the mob?
She knew. She stayed with him what she was in for. My point on this is, Casey, when you marry Donald Trump,
right,
you knew what you signed up for, so you shouldn't probably act overly surprised that he did the exact thing that he'd always been doing. Yes.
That he had a wandering eye. Yeah.
It doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying you should not be like, I am so offended that you did this. I'm so shocked. Donald Trump had many women at his disposal.
There are a lot of companies right now that are laying off workers, and we're going to get into that coming up from 93 WIBC. You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all of your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, fastest way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Conflict and then gunfire. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. 2 people were shot this morning on Indy's east side along Shortridge Road, which is in between 21st and East 16th Street.
Luckily, they're both stable and they're not life-threatening, but that's still not an excuse.
IMPD Captain Don Weilhammer believes the whole thing started over an argument between neighbors. At the State House,
Senate Bill 480 is part of the slate of hate, a historic number of bills that single out LGBTQ Hoosiers.
Debate over a bill banning gender-affirming care for trans kids. That was Katie Blair with the ACLU in the House chamber. The bill would make it illegal to give hormone therapy, puberty blockers, or even surgery to children looking to change their gender. Lawmakers heard from both advocates for trans kids as well as people supporting the bill. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Tune in to WIBC's First Day Show each Sunday, 10 to noon, to hear about good things in Indy. Brought to you by Greg Cooper and Lisa Phillips with Crossroads Collective at Compass Real Estate.
Get your air conditioner ready for spring and the hot summer ahead. On the south side, call Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. Call themarshallnow.com, your American Standard air dealer.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
World-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Winning games and championships is fun, but the true purpose of high school sports is for student athletes to grow as people, not just athletes. I'm Paul Knighty, Commissioner of the IHSAA.
And I'm Dr. Katie Jenner, Indiana Secretary of Education. Hoosier teachers and coaches care just as much about how student athletes are performing in the classroom as they do about how they're performing on the playing field.
They understand high school sports are a tool to educate and shape the whole student athlete, helping teens become the best versions of themselves.
Our teachers and coaches don't just teach academic and athletic skills, they also encourage communication and collaboration, instill confidence, promote a strong work ethic, and so much more. To all our Hoosier educators and coaches, we are grateful for everything you do.
Fans, buy a ticket to your high school's athletic events and thank our educators for making education-based athletics possible.
This is gratitude. This is appreciation. This is your IHSAA.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
It is 11:34. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So yesterday, Biden signed into law something that could shed some light on the links between the coronavirus pandemic and also the Wuhan lab in China.
He finally signed it?
He finally signed it.
Didn't sit on his desk for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's going to require all U.S. intelligence-related officers to release and declassify any information about the origins of COVID, and they have to do that within 90 days for it to...
I'm still confused why he took so long to sign this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It was a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just let it sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, not to be Biden here, but no joke, man. Like 2 weeks he let it sit there before he finally...
Well, not only that, but there was a while that Karine Jean-Pierre,
yeah,
the White House press secretary, she was asked, is he going to sign it? Is he going to sign it? And she was like, I don't know.
What possible... Unless you were just attempting to cover up that this thing was created in a lab, as we now know it was, why would you delay that at all? And why wouldn't you want every bit of transparency to be out there, every piece of documentation possible to be out there?
You silly Rob.
So that the American people can see.
You're being funny now.
How did this happen? So maybe we can avoid it happening again.
You just said you want the Biden administration to be transparent. You're silly.
Dude, we've got to become buddies with this Jefferson Shreve guy. He's on TV now, too. Like, he probably has memberships at really nice places we can't get into.
You're talking about the guy who's running for mayor.
Yeah, you need to reach out to him because we all know how it'll go if I do it.
Okay, I'll pull him up on Twitter. Do you think he's on Twitter? He better be on Twitter.
Yeah, he's got a Twitter account.
I'll pull him up on Twitter. Should I slip into his DMs?
Yeah, absolutely should. Right away. Right away. There's no way he's not responding to you if you get into his DMs. I didn't mean to derail this conversation. He's on TV again. Like, he is...
He's spending $600,000.
Yeah, we need more friends like that. Why do we have friends like Kevin? We need friends like Jefferson Shreve.
Kevin knows where the best place is to get schnitzel.
In Olden
in
Town.
southern Indiana.
Is it Olden Town? Is that where it was?
It's Oldenburg. Yeah, you can be rich in culture if you're friends with me.
Hey, speaking of Biden and being ridiculous, he did another What in the World is Biden Saying yesterday.
Oh, right. He did.
Yeah.
What was he talking about? Persian culture or something? It was, it's another round of I'm so embarrassed that this is my president. What was he saying? This could go in Biden madness for next year. You never know. Do we have that audio, Kevin? Yep. Okay, let's hear it.
You know, the Persian culture is amazing. As a student of the Persian culture, not a practitioner, but a student.
What does that mean?
Can we just play that again? Because it's all great. It's amazing.
Student.
It's amazing, Casey.
You know, the Persian culture is amazing. As a student of the Persian culture, not a practitioner, but a student.
What is he learning?
I have no idea. I have no idea what
He's
any
a
of that
man
means.
of so many cultures.
It's awesome.
He's Irish. He's Puerto Rican. He claims to be black half the time. By the way, completely switching back to Jefferson Shreve.
Yes, our rich soon-to-be friend.
Who's running for mayor of Indianapolis.
We love you, Abdul, but you don't have near the money this guy does.
He has 3 Twitter accounts. And the one that I believe is the mayor account, Shreve for Indiana, I would assume that's the mayor account. That one's locked. So I hit the follow button, and now it's pending. Like, I have to be approved.
No, there's no way he has
Follow
3
him.
Twitter accounts. There's no way.
He
There's got to be
does.
another Shreve.
No.
Are you sure?
It's his picture.
Oh, maybe somebody lifted his photo.
Or maybe he's got a troll account. Okay, so one says he's the founder of Storage Express.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That one.
He's got recent. Just follow them all, Casey.
I'm going to follow them all.
He's got $590 million, Casey.
And now there's another one that has 0 followers, and he's following 0.
Don't take any chances. Just keep adding all of them. And you do. Look, Casey, remember in Forrest Gump when the guy that's the principal or whatever comes out and goes, your mama sure does care about your education. That's
us in the show. I sure do care about the show. But now it says that he has 1 follower, and it's me. I'm out there on an island all on my own. Well, I hope, he'll approve the pending follow. Boy, you have to be special, huh?
Hey, whatever you got to be, you be it.
I'm going to do it. I'll do it for the show, Rob.
He may want to come to the mentoring session with me and Kev. I guarantee he picks up the tab.
I was going to say, you may want him to go.
Hey, real quick, I did want to tell you, I watched this last night, and it was...
What did you watch?
Well, it was on Netflix. It is called MH370, The Plane That Disappeared.
Oh.
And it is about that Malaysian plane that in, I think, 2013 just disappeared. It was the 777 plane that was flying across the Indian Ocean, and they've never found it. There were hundreds of people on it.
Bermuda Triangle?
And no, not the Bermuda Triangle. It was in the Indian Ocean by Australia. And this was, don't you remember this? This was
I remember what you're talking about.
It was like just the biggest story ever. Netflix has a whole new, I think it's a 3-part documentary out on this thing. It's called MH370, The Plane That Disappeared.
Okay.
Now, it has got a bunch of people in it that are totally full of crap. And you very quickly pick up on some of these people are totally just ridiculous. But there is a whole lot of very interesting information, and there are some people who actually have plausible, interesting theories as to what happened with this plane. And it ranges from everything from the pilot went into business for himself and did a murder-suicide to the Russians were involved in it to, of course, the American government was involved in on it. So an incredibly tragic event. I mean, obviously all these people are gone and passed away. The plane has never been found. Parts of the plane have been found now. But if you're looking to kill a couple of hours of your day at some point,
watch this one. How long was it? Multiple parts?
Yeah, 3 parts.
3 parts.
I think it was 3 parts.
Hour long each?
Yeah, probably about right.
Okay, you got through that in one sitting.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to go back quickly to Joe Biden signing the declassification
okay, we're back there.
of all of the COVID origin stuff. Yes. He claimed that there would be national security risks if it got out too soon before it was ready. That's why you had asked earlier. And also, don't know if you heard about this. Amazon has come out and they have said they're going to lay off 9,000 employees in the next coming weeks. Disney has also come out and said that they're laying off 4,000 employees. They just laid off 7,000. They're getting ready to lay off 4,000 more.
I thought the economy was doing great.
And there was this article in the Wall Street Journal.
But you're too cheap to pay for.
Right. And it said that 27% of hiring managers reported job postings stayed up for more than 4 months. And over half of these managers said that they keep up the job opening, the posting, to give out the impression that the company was growing.
It's amazing you said that because I just had a conversation with a buddy of mine who's been in radio for years the other day, and he was commenting on how many radio jobs are supposedly available.
Yeah.
And we were saying there's no way there's that many radio jobs actually available.
Right.
And he's like, these companies have to be just maybe some of them just leaving them up.
Right. It's for the stockholders.
Oh!
And the stakeholders.
Interesting.
Not for the actual people who want to be gainfully employed. All right, coming up, who are we interviewing? Oh, boy, Justin Hobbs, an old high school friend of Rob's.
Yes!
He gave me some dirt when you weren't around on you.
There's a secret drinking society, Casey, and our listeners are going to love this.
All right, we're going to talk to him next. From 93 WIBC.
My name is Ainsley Flannery, and I am the Eastside Volunteer Coordinator for Agape Therapeutic Riding Center, and I nominated Ava Courtney for Jiffy Lube's Drive to Do More Award.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
I'm Ava Courtney. The main thing I enjoy is serving at the barn, being with the horses, and serving my community. By receiving a year's worth of vehicle maintenance, it allows me to continue coming here and can rely on my local Jiffy Lube to make sure my car is running properly.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more, as well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
Jiffy Lube accepts competitors' coupons, so you don't have to choose between saving a few dollars versus treating your vehicle to Jiffy Lube's award-winning service. Click on JiffyLubeIndiana.com for a Jiffy Lube near you.
I like to be active, and as you get older, I know it because I am older. You're more prone to injury, and I could not get rid of the pain.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson talking about how a hiking injury left her in awful pain.
No one wants to live in pain. I certainly don't want to live in pain. I don't have time for pain.
Diane had heard about regenerative medicine, so she called QC Kinetics and started treatment right away. And the results were incredible.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics, healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. There's no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime.
The result was phenomenal. I mean, I was not feeling any pain. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, this may be the solution you're looking for. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
It was a game changer.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Indy, finally springtime, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Edwina did. She called Rhino Shield.
Over the years, I've had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house, and when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard, but Rhino Shield was right on it.
Indy, now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Indianapolis is under attack, at war with rampant crime, drugs, and homelessness. But Mayor Hogsett is unwilling to join the fight. In fact, under Mayor Hogsett, Indianapolis now has a murder rate higher than Chicago. Do you feel safe knowing that? But Jefferson Shreve is ready to take back Indianapolis. Jefferson Shreve will put more cops on the street and give them the support they need. We don't have to live like this. Jefferson Shreve is ready to rebuild, restore, and reimagine Indianapolis. He's a winner in business, so he knows how to lead a team to turn things around. No more empty talk. It's time for action. Because another term for Mayor Hogsett is another 4 years of the same problems, only worse. This may send Hogsett a message. Vote for Jefferson Shreve for a change. Paid for by Shreve for Mayor.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
I want one bourbon, one scotch, one beer, one bourbon, one scotch, one beer.
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Casey.
Yeah.
Did you know there is a super secret society in which, being a member of the society, you sit around and you drink high-end alcohol.
Oh, is there a secret handshake? Special door knock to get through?
And then after you drink the high-end alcohol, you take proceeds and you raise money for the community, and then you do good things for the community.
Okay.
It's called the Brownsburg Bourbon Society, and this should totally be in Tony Katz's wheelhouse, but we're going to steal one from him on this one because they've got a big event coming up that everybody should be a part of, but I want to learn about what it's like to be in a bourbon society because that sounds like a place I would never be allowed to be. So Justin Hobbs joins us from the Brownsburg Bourbon Society. Hobbs, did I get this right that that's what you guys do? You sit around and you drink high-end alcohol and then you do good things for the community?
I couldn't have summed it up any better myself.
What is a bourbon society?
Well, so back during the pandemic, there were like 6 of us guys that kind of got together, and we still wanted to meet, and we're like, hey, let's bring your best bourbon or whatever. So they came over to my house a couple times, and the wife.
I've been to Hobbs' house. It's a sprawling mansion in the greater Brownsburg area, so it's quite the treat.
So he's got some real high-end bourbon.
Yeah. So the wife was like, okay, I'll do some charcuterie boards for you boys, and so we brought over some bourbon, and we did it a couple months, and then one of the guys was like, you know what, let's make this a little philanthropic. We're like, okay. So one thing led to another, and so in 21 we decided, hey, let's call ourselves the Brownsburg Bourbon Society.
How do you get in? Do you guys accept members? Is there a secret handshake? What do you do?
You just have to bring a bottle of Van Winkle in.
There is,
then you're good.
Yeah. 1 bottle of Van Winkle. And then $100 a year.
Right.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, but the Van Winkle needs to go to me.
Yeah. Right. For those of you playing at home, Van Winkle vodka or bourbon can go up to $50,000 a bottle.
No way.
Ridiculous.
It is the world's most expensive bourbon.
Yes. So, how often do you meet? What do you do?
Well, we try to have something to do once a month. Last month, we went out to Old 55 in Newtown, Indiana. It's a distillery. This guy, his name's Jason Fruits. Dude is a BA in the Bourbon Society.
Oh yeah,
or not in the Bourbon Society. He is
it's like a handshake. It's like the Van Buren boys on Seinfeld.
Yes, exactly. But we went out there last month. Did a couple barrel picks with them. We did that.
You did a what?
A barrel pick.
What in the world is that?
Okay, so they obviously all the bourbon is it's aged in barrels. So we go out there and he pulls some barrels that he's been aging for over 4 years. And
wow.
He thieves from it.
He what?
Thieving, stealing.
Justin, pretend.
It's just the angel share.
Pretend I just drink Long Island's from Kilroy's. Educate me. What is a thieving? What is that?
Well, thieving, I mean, essentially thieving, stealing from the barrel.
Oh, I see.
So he has this little contraption that he sticks down in the barrel, gets a little bit of bourbon out, and passes around to the guys that were there. Not guys and girls.
You got women in the club?
We do.
Oh,
we
it's
do.
It's you don't just have to be dudes.
Correct.
Casey, this could be a new thing for you.
They let everybody in.
Yeah, absolutely. How many people you got in the Brownsburg Bourbon Society now?
I think we're maybe around that 39 to 45 mark.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. We were wanting to cap it around 50 when we first started out, but things have been rolling. Some minds have been helping us out with some certain things, so I think that 50 cap is kind of expanded maybe a little bit higher.
Justin Hobbs is our guest. He's with the Brownsburg Bourbon Society. They have a big charity event coming up. We'll talk about in just a second. How do you? Is there a website? How do you get in? Is there an application process? What do you do to get in a bourbon society?
It is extremely easy to join us. It's brownsburgbourbon.org.
And you don't have to live in Brownsburg.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know some people will be like, hey, if you did West Side Bourbon Society, I'm like, hey, we established ourselves as the Brownsburg Bourbon Society, but hey, you're more than welcome to join us.
It's one of the few decent things going on in Brownsburg these days. Let's not take the name out of it. Okay, so you guys do a big philanthropic component to this. You got a big event coming up, and you talked to Katz about it, and he totally big-timed you, and because I am Mr. Brownsburg, I would never big-time you. What is it? Tell us.
So we got, on June 24th, we have the Rusty Nail Golf Outing. It's at West Chase Golf Club. Rusty Nail.
Why is it called the Rusty Nail Golf Outing?
Well, it's actually after the guy that had the land that actually sold in 1993 to establish West Chase Golf Club.
Okay, all right.
Russ Holloway.
Yes.
Passed away in 2012. or 2012.
2012. There you go. Very good.
But actually, this has been going on well before. I mean, when he was alive and everything, he started it before West Chase was even around back in 1988.
Wow, what's it do? What are we raising money for?
We're raising money. He passed away due to cancer, so we're raising money for American Cancer Society.
Oh, that's great.
That's
Nice.
what his wife has been doing, and so we're like, you know what? We knew Miss Holloway. And so we approached her and said, hey, let's take this and build it even more. So it took her a little bit.
Yeah, Justin, and I can vouch for Justin. We grew up together. He's not scheming or scamming. This will go to where he says it's going to go to. So what do we get? The Brownsburg Bourbon Society's being a part of this golf outing. Tell us what is going on. It'll probably be more than just golf, right? It's got to be, some bourbon's got to be involved in this somehow.
Oh, yeah. We're sitting here at the end of March, and we already have 3 distilleries that have reached out to us. We haven't made a real hard push yet, but we've already had 3 distilleries reach out to us and say, hey, we want to set up on a hole.
That's great. Casey and I should just drive around on a golf cart for you and throw bourbon at people. We'd be really good at that.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to play.
Throw bourbon. I don't know about throwing anything. I hear tell that there was a Brownsburg baseball game your freshman year.
Oh, yeah.
They had a perfect season
Yeah, I missed the ball.
until your era.
Yeah. This was a good thing for me in life, Casey, because it's just like in politics. All the great things I did for people, and all people remember are the things they don't like.
Thing?
All the hits I got, all the things I did for the team, just the one bad play, and nobody ever let you forget it.
I hear that one bad play ruined the entire
that's why I'm a
season.
miserable person today, Casey. Thank you. Now you understand it all. Justin Hobbs, our guest for the Brownsburg Bourbon Society. Couple minutes left here with you guys. Why is philanthropy a big part of what you guys do? I think that's awesome.
I mean, it's something to kind of establish ourselves. I mean, not just to make something as a bunch of drunks drinking bourbon.
You fit right in here, buddy. Have you heard Hammer and Nigel?
Yes, I have. Yeah. So they just wanted the bourbons. They didn't want anything to do with philanthropy. But it's something that we feel like we need to give back to the community because they've been so good to us, and also kind of helps us get our foot in the door to some other distilleries, maybe get some different bourbon barrel tastings. And we just want to grow. I mean, and we want everybody to be involved. We don't want 1,000 members and do something like twice a year. We want to do something every month, get everybody involved as much as they can, and then just.
All right. So people want info either on the golf outing, which is great. That'll be fun. Raise money for a good cause, or just the Bourbon Society in general. Because I think you're going to get a lot of people that are going to hear this and go, opportunity to sit around and drink bourbon. Sign me up for that. How can they do it?
We'll go to brownsburgbourbon.org to learn more about Brownsburg Bourbon Society. And if you want to go learn more about our outing coming up on the 24th of June, go to rustynailgolf.com.
Justin Hobbs, that ball was in the lights, Hobbs. It was really hard to see.
4:30 in the afternoon, Rob.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Good job today. And thank you for listening. We're going to count on you to be back here tomorrow. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, Casey.
Yeah?
Important question.
What?
Very important question.
What?
Think very long and hard before you answer.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
How would you feel if you lost out on $111,000 in retirement income?
Remorseful.
Remorseful. Boy, that's a nice way of putting it. And get this, 96% of Americans lose out on an average of $111,000 in Social Security income, and it's because they claimed their benefits at the wrong time. You know us, we're Kendall and Casey.
You can learn how to avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. We trust Bill Demery so much that we're now clients of Bill Demery. And if you've saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-932-9912. Bill does all the heavy lifting and won't charge you a dime for it.
Call 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
Storm season is coming, and storms in Indiana can be brutal. And your siding defends your home from the forces of the wind and the rain, so you want to make sure your home is protected with the best roofing and siding possible. You need Moss Roofing because they use high-quality James Hardie siding, and it withstands our Indiana weather. This fiber cement siding is strong and actually mimics traditional siding options. Moss Roofing installs James Hardie siding to help ensure your home's exterior is attractive for years to come. And Moss Roofing has got you covered in every way. They believe in honesty, integrity, and quality service, and they do great work right here in Central Indiana. Your roofing, your siding, insulation, all of it installed and priced perfectly with Moss Roofing. Contact Moss Roofing at MOSS, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or online at Moss, MOSS, mossroofing.com, and tell them Tony Cat sent you.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents